All right. So I guess we are all settled a bit more now. Good morning, everyone. Congratulations and welcome to Year 1 FMS orientation. It is a great accomplishment to be accepted into this program. I would like you all to give yourselves a round of applause. Let's see by show of hands how many people here are in the medicine program. It's a great accomplishment. Nice. Congratulations. What about pharmacy? Do you have any pharmacy students here? Right, I'm seeing some up in the corner. What about vet school, the School of Veterinary Medicine? Right, I'm seeing some in the front. Congratulations. Today is a very exciting day. School of Dentistry, do we have any future dentists? Yeah? Make some noise. I'm not hearing you all this morning. Everyone's still sleepy. A lot of traffic to get here. Yeah? What about School of Nursing? I see my nursing students. Anyone doing optometry? Oh, I'm seeing a few optometry. So congratulations to all schools present here. Welcome. My name is Rihanna Ramuta Singh. I'm one of the administrative assistants who I will soon get my introduction. But at first, I would like to call up our Deputy Dean for Basic Health Sciences, Professor Yuri Clement. He has been our Deputy Dean for students in years 1 to 3 under the Basic Health Sciences program. And he's also a lecturer in pharmacology. So let's give a round of applause to Professor Clement. For students in years 1 to 3 under the Basic Health Sciences program, and he's also a lecturer in
So thank you very much, Ms. Vamuta Singh, for that kind introduction. And actually, she did most of my work for me because I was going to welcome you. All the different schools, the 5 schools and the optometry program. But she did a good job of welcoming you. But I want to also welcome you again and to congratulate you because I know that you have worked very hard to get into here, into this faculty. We know that medicine especially is one of the most competitive programs to get into and you are here. So I think for medicine, give yourself a round of applause for being one of the students who we selected. And of course, all the other programs as well, nursing, pharmacy, vet medicine, dentistry, and also the optometry program. So you are here, you have worked very hard. I know that some of you all say, okay, yes, I'm here, and you give a sigh of relief. But of course, you have 3 years or 4 years or 5 years still to go. So you have reached one milestone and you have many more to go before you graduate. This morning, Ms. Vamuta Singh dropped off a 5-year-old to school. And I know that some of you, all your parents dropped you off here this morning. Yeah, and of course, you need to be grateful to them who have carried you over many years for you to be here. Through CAPE, some of you would have done a first degree. And of course, I want you to, when you go back home, I know you would have thanked them already, but thank them again because they have done a lot and they have sacrificed a lot for you to be here. And of course, over the next 3, 4, 5 years, they are going to do much more so that you will graduate and walk across that stage to collect your degree. So, without any further ado, I also want to welcome, because I believe that we're also live streaming, and there are some students in Antigua in the pharmacy program. So I want us at St. Augustine to welcome those students at St. Augustine at Antigua in the pharmacy program. I also know that we have some non-nationals, people who are not from Trinidad and Tobago. And I don't know all where they're from, but if I could call some islands out and you could probably identify yourself, then we'll be able to welcome you. Because I know sometimes you're in a strange place, you are totally new, you don't know anybody or anything, and therefore you need somebody to probably hold your hand and to guide you around. So we're gonna start from Trinidad and Tobago. Anybody from Tobago in here? Anyone from Grenada? From Barbados? From St. Vincent? From St. Lucia? From Antigua? From Jamaica? From USA? From Canada? From Jamaica? From Europe? From Bahamas? Welcome, welcome. I know it's a different country, it's a different space. We have our distinct culture. I want to invite you to make friends with a Trini. I think we are unique kind of people. So make friends. Of course, we also want to advise you to be safe. You would have been reading the newspaper before you came here, and probably you've been hearing some news that not so nice. So we want you to be safe. On campus, we have security, and the security would give you some guidelines of how to behave yourselves on campus and out of campus. Yeah? Experience Trinidad and Tobago is beautiful. Yeah? We have doubles. We have shark and bake. We have pilau. We have kalaloo. Enjoy the food of Trinidad and Tobago and the culture of Trinidad and Tobago. We have carnival, which you would all have heard about. We have Diwali. We have Eid, multicultural. So it's a place where you can actually learn a lot. And therefore, if you make a friend with a Trini, you will learn a lot about these two islands. And of course, from Tobago. Anybody from Tobago here? Multicultural. Welcome, welcome. So I want to invite you now to listen to some of the people who you will be meeting in your programs and some of the staff members. I know that there are others who would not be on the slideshow this morning, but I want to acknowledge some of my colleagues who are here with me today. So we have, from the start, I'm going to introduce our Dean, Professor Harry Sitaram. On the slideshow this morning. So I believe I'll need to get to the start of my slides over here. Professor Harry Sitaram. So I believe I'll need to get to the start of my slides over here. All right, so again, we have our Dean, Professor Harry Haran Sitaram, and he's in charge of the faculty of all the schools and the program, optometry program. We have also assisting him in his office, Ms. Alana Howard, the secretary to the dean. So when you want to make an appointment to see him, you will have to go through her. We have as well Mrs. Nisa Philip Roberts, who is the administrative officer in the dean's office and for the faculty. So she's in charge of all the administrative staff in the dean's office as well as in the faculty. And sometimes I refer to her as our boss, Miss Nisa. We have as well Miss Maria Brooks. She's the HR staff support officer and she deals with all the matters relating to HR, both at academic staff and non-academic staff. We have Mrs. Vicklin Patterson Combs, Senior Assistant, Administrative Assistant for Student Affairs. So all the student matters, including your progression through your programs. She's very busy looking at people who may have failed, who have failed, have to repeat, looking at their courses to progress and also to graduate. And actually, I'm not sure whether she's here right now. She's there. Miss Vicklin Patterson Combs. Very busy lady. I had sent her a couple of emails already for this morning for her to look at. I'm not sure whether she had a chance to look at them as yet, but she's very busy. Miss Rihanna, Jamie Ramuta Singh, who you just met. She's the administrative assistant for 3 deputy deans, myself, Prof. Reed, as well as Prof. Rafiq for academic advising. So she's also very busy. And myself, I'm not a clerical assistant. There's a slight error there, but my duty really is to look at matters for students in the MBBS programs, years 1 to 3. So normally you would not see me unless it is that you have a problem progressing. So if you would have failed a course, you have to trail that course, meaning that you have to carry that course from 1 year into the next year. Or if you have to repeat that course, then you will see me. So if you don't see me besides today, then that is a good thing. Yeah? All right, we have working with me very closely in the Office of the Deputy Dean, Basic Health Sciences, Ms. Beverly Child, and she's very busy putting you into PBL groups. Those of you in MBBS program will know that you will start PBL from next week. Yeah, and she will be busy putting you into groups as well as putting you into the sites for you to do those PBLs. So she's very busy doing that at the moment. We have Professor Sandra Reed, the Deputy Dean for Clinical Sciences, which is year 4 and year 5 of the MBBS program. And she would function similar to me in terms of making sure that you progress through the program in year 4 and year 5. We have as well Professor Risa Rafik, and she is the Deputy Dean for Outreach, Academic Advising and Library Services. And academic advising is very important in our program because, of course, when you don't progress as you should meet someone, yeah? And therefore that person will let you know, okay, how do I move from one step to the next step? Also, before you came in here, you would have had to meet, I believe, with Ms. Patterson, who would have given you academic advice in terms of your registration and your progress through the program. We have our acting deputy dean for quality assurance and accreditation, Dr. Sulaiman Juman. And of course, the medical program and all the other programs are accredited, and therefore we need to make sure that we have quality in our programs. And he is acting for Professor Sa, who is on leave, in terms of maintaining the quality of our programs. We have Ms. Heather Woodruff, admin assistant for assessment. So all of your marks, when you have exams in end of semester or in summer, all the marks will go to her, and she will collate them, and we will have meetings, and she's responsible for preparing the mark sheets. We have as well in the Center for Medical Sciences Education, Ms. Bedo, and she is responsible for coordinating all of the activities in that unit. We do have Professor Dilip Dan, Deputy Dean for Graduate Studies. I mean, most of you here right now will be undergraduate, but he plays a big role in terms of coordinating the programs for our postgraduate program. For example, the DMs, the MPhils, the PhDs, the MSc programs. We do have assisting him, Ms. Lizelle Norville, who assists in coordinating those programs. We do have new on the block. We have Dr. Farid Youssef, the head of preclinical sciences, and those will be for the MBBS programs year 1 to year 3. We have assisting him, Mrs. Monique De Assing, as the admin assistant for that department. In my department, we have Professor Patrick Akpaka, the Department of Paraclinical Sciences, And in that department is mostly for the MBBS program. And we are involved in year one, the second half of semester one, and for year three of the MBBS program. In that department, we have Ms. Sophia Graves, who is assisting him as the admin assistant. There's an error there. That is the Department of Paraclinical Sciences. We have, in the MBBS program, we have 4 departments, and we have Dr. Kurt Botking, who is the head of the Clinical Medical Sciences Department. So those that would be years 4 and year 5 in the MBBS program. We do have assisting him, the admin assistant, Mrs. Natasha Cabrera Jacob, who is assisting him in that department. We have our last department in the MBBS program, the Department of Clinical Surgical Sciences, and we have heading that department, Dr. Ravi Moraj, and we have assisting him in that department as the admin assistant, Mrs. Marcia McDonald Howard, in the Department of Clinical Surgical Sciences. In the School of Dentistry, we have the director, Professor William Smith, and you will see him. I believe that there is something happening this afternoon, so dental students will be seeing more of Prof. Smith. In that school, we have Ms. Cheryl Gomez, who is the admin assistant, who is ably assisting Prof. Smith in his duties in that school. In the School of Nursing, we have Dr. Esther Daniel, who is the acting director. The director is on leave for a year, and Dr. Daniel is acting in his position for that year. In that school, the admin assistant is Mrs. Luan Caesar, who will be assisting her in kind of the administrative functions in that school. In the vet school, we have Dr. Carla Georges, and she's not the admin assistant, she's the director of that school. And the admin assistant in that school, we will get to that, but there are 2 departments in that school. We have Dr. Anil Prasad, who is the head of the Department of Veterinary Clinical Sciences. And the next department is the Department of Basic Veterinary Sciences, Dr. Sundar Raman. And we have in that school the senior admin assistant, Mrs. Leslie-Ann Roman Hood. In the pharmacy school, we have Dr. Sandeep Maraj, and I believe, as I said previously, that there is a cohort in Antigua who is on stream now, and they have extended the program into the Five Islands campus. Assistant Dr. Maraj in the School of Pharmacy will be the admin assistant, Mrs. Jane Sukdan Brown. And of course, she's very excited about the expansion of the pharmacy program into Antigua. In the library, we have head in the library, Mrs. Avril Reed. And of course, there is the internet, and sometimes we take for granted information that we have access to, whether that information is reliable or not. And sometimes we neglect the spaces where we get reliable information. So the library is a place that you should go. And I see that there are a number of tours that are going to take place over this week, and Ms. Reed would have organized with her staff to carry on those tours. We have Assistant Ms. Reed in the library, Ms. Avian Jagunnath as the admin assistant, and you will meet more of her. We have some associate deans, Dr. Marsha Ivy for public relations, and you would hear a lot more about her because most of our events and activities, Dr. Ivy will be the master of ceremonies, and also when there's information that needs to be passed on from main campus or even from the faculty, Dr. Ivy would be the one who will relay that information to you. We have Dr. Steve Corey, the coordinator of the Skills Lab. And for those students in the MBBS program, we do have skills from years 1 to year 3. You may not be exposed to clinics as quite yet, so the Skills Lab is more or less going to prepare you for when you get into clinics and into hospitals. So Dr. Steve Corey, I believe that there are some tours and some activities associated with the Skills Lab sometime during this week. And Assistant Dr. Corey in there is Miss Leslie-Ann Archibald. And she is the secretary of the skills lab, in the skills lab. And for those of you doing the MBBS program, you will find that she's very strict in terms of your dress code. So you cannot come in cutouts, slippers, short pants, things like that, and she will make sure that you abide by those rules. You will not be allowed to enter the skills lab unless you are appropriately dressed. Because remember, you are being prepared for when you go to clinics, and you cannot go on the hospital ward with a slipper on. Yeah, so you need to practice from now. We have in the optometry program, Dr. Kinsley Ekimeri. So all the optometry students, you will meet Dr. Ekimeri. I believe that there is a tour and an orientation in the optometry school. An assistant, Dr. Ekimeri, is the secretary, Miss Ebony Scipio, in the program. As well, some of you all would have come through the pre-health professionals program, the PHPP, in whatever program that you're in, and Dr. Samjit Singh is the coordinator of that program, who would have assisted you in getting to this point. We have assisted him. We have Mrs. Louise Bovell, who is secretary of the PHPP program. Of course, you will have come in here today. You will have met a well-equipped auditorium. You will be going into classrooms, other seminar rooms, other spaces. And of course, we have someone who will be assisting in making sure that those spaces are well maintained. You have air conditioning, you have projectors, you have what you need in those spaces. And of course, we want to thank Mr. Subhash Ragbi for allowing us to be prepared for you coming out today and throughout the semester. We have as well our faculty IT head, Mr. Colin Knight. So you will, in all your classrooms, in all your spaces, you should be able to have access to internet. So it means that while you're in a classroom or in a seminar room for PBL, you should be able to access internet and the Wi-Fi so that you'll be able to better integrate and engage in classes as they are going on. We do have with us in the back, we have Mr. Marlon Sampson, our audiovisual and technical support. And right now he's the one who is assisting in projection of this PowerPoint. I mean, it's going a little bit faster than I want. So I might be speeding a little bit because I think it's time and I'm probably taking too long to get to the next slide. But Mr. Marlon Sampson, you will see him around quite often because he is the one who will be setting up the area for audio visual. And of course, we have multiple spaces, so sometimes he will be in 3 spaces at the same time. So therefore, we have to be patient, and we thank him for his dedication to his work. We have, coming on to the end, last but not least, we have Mr. Dexter Superville, who is our faculty photographer. So right now, he is the one responsible for streaming this presentation and this morning to students in Antigua. Also, he's responsible for also all the photography in the faculty over the last 10 plus years. So therefore, if you want to go back to see who was the dean in 2001, you'll probably have a record of that. And if you go out, when you go outside here, by the roundabout where the flag poles are, you will see a little structure there. It's a time capsule, and he would have taken the pictures, I believe, more than 10 years ago. They have been stored so maybe 20 years from now, we'll open it. We hope that some of us are still around. We'll open it and see who was around when those pictures were taken. So we want to thank Mr. Superville for his work as a faculty photographer. So I believe that brings me to the end of my presentation. Sorry for rushing a bit. I didn't realize that the PowerPoint was timed, so it was always a little bit behind. So I now want to invite Ms. Ramuta Singh to bring the next speaker on. So I will probably just invite Professor Rafik as the academic advisor.
Thank you so much, Prof. Clement. Apologies for the few errors in the slides. As Prof would have mentioned, I had a 5-year-old starting primary school today. And, it was a long and stressful week, but we are here. We are getting through. I'm happy to see that we have such a full house this morning, right? And now, without further ado, I'm going to invite our Dean, Professor Harry Haran Sitharaman, who goes by Prof. Harry, to come and bring greetings and welcome to you guys.
Thank you, Rihanna. Good morning, all students. Welcome to the Faculty of Medical Sciences. And as you know, when Prof. Clement called all the names, you know that this is a unique faculty where we actually promote One Health. You know what is One Health, right? I mean, we even in Barbados, I saw a hand from a student from Barbados. We have only medical students, but we do have here pharmacy, dentistry, veterinary, optometry, nursing. So this is a very unique opportunity for you to understand the full dynamics of healthcare system. So you're very fortunate to be in this faculty and also getting orientation like this. So long before you were all born, I went into medical school in 1982, to be correct. And I was just thrown into the anatomy hall. There were 10 cadavers this side and another 10 on the other side. And we were like trembling what to do, full, then we were split into 6. And they asked us to go and stand near the old lady who donated her, body for us to dissect. And that was our orientation. I didn't know what to do, what not to do, nothing. They just took us into anatomy lab, and I had a scalpel and a forceps, and I was a lifelong vegetarian. I mean, I am still. So then they asked us to, the professor from there, he said, okay, read the Cunningham's Manual of Anatomy and start dissecting the palm. And all my 5 other classmates, they were trembling and, they didn't want to touch and they pushed me to the front. And are a lifelong vegetarian now with bare hands, not even gloves, no gloves, because it's a public medical school. And I just took the scalpel and then I was trembling and then I went so deep inside. And the professor walked, he asked me, where is the palmar aponeurosis? I said, what? So that's the first thing you have to read in the Cunningham's manual and just go a little superficial to just reflect only the skin. But with all our fear, we just went deep in and then exposed the tendon. And he was so upset with the whole batch. And he said, luckily, God gave another hand. Go to the next one. So that is our orientation. And now I must congratulate my team that, this is a fantastic orientation for the week. You will get everything, tours, you will get introduced to all the faculty, and you know exactly what to do, how will be your classes, what you're expected to do, everything. So thanks for that wonderful, arrangement. Now, personally, I wanted to tell you one thing. My kids were, brought up here. I know how the school culture goes. When I go and I have to drop them at St. Xavier's or St. Joseph, wherever, or Trinity East, where my son went, Trinity East, whatever, right? So the parents don't want to leave the students. their children, they come drive, a big truck will come for one child, and the child will get down, and then until the child disappears, they will be under the parents will be taking care. It's not, I'm not making fun of it, but what I wanted to tell you is now you are in a university. And I do see this trend that even when you come until final year, and currently we are dealing with one student, Viklin will know about it, that he still wants his grandma, grandpa, father, everybody to come and talk to us. A final year student. Please, please, please lose that SEA thing right in the primary school. You are now in university, you are an adult, you need to make decisions for yourself. You will be very well off. You can make decisions. You have your guild, you have your representation, MSSC, they are going to talk to you. You have academic advising deans, you have the head of the department, you have student staff liaison committee, everything is there. So please come out of that dependency syndrome. Please be independent, and that is going to train you to become a professional in your own right. Because when you go out there after the training in a professional faculty like ours, nobody is going to hold your hand when you examine a patient, whichever faculty, whichever specialty you are in, right? So you need to get trained to be independent from now on. And do not actually think of passing a course and just getting a coaching for exam. And that is again another big SEA culture. I know that because my kids are now in university. When I ask my son, why do you want to go to lessons? That is how I can pass exam. Only if I go to lessons, I can pass exam. So everybody has this one goal as a student to pass exam. Yes, we need to pass exam, but in a professional faculty like ours, you need to acquire knowledge and then pass the exam, right? Acquisition of knowledge is much more important, and don't be again dependent on this spoon feeding coaching to pass an exam. Learn as much as possible, and the PBL is one of the best things in the world which we have adopted, problem based learning. So we just give you a problem, and based on the problem you brainstorm yourself with your colleagues and read and prepare, and how the basic sciences of medicine is going to be applied into the problem. So it's a very, very good learning environment. So I beg you to just come out of that dependency syndrome. My daughter went to Asia Pacific University in Japan. So she just got into the flight and said, thank you, goodbye. And she just got there and she pulled herself. And then COVID came. We never could visit her until her graduation. And that is how I'm not I'm not saying that everybody can be like that, but you are in a university and you are right here in Trinidad and Tobago, majority of you, with known environment. But I do see a lot of this dependency syndrome, and that is why I wanted to dedicate this particular talk for you to come out of that SEA culture, be a university student, learn everything, acquire knowledge, and I wish you all the best for all your exams in this faculty. You will definitely go through with confidence. Things, sometimes, there are issues that, once or twice, there can be hiccups while you move through multiple courses, and it's not easy. I tell you, every single school, be it dentistry, nursing, everything is so stringent because we want you to become the finest professionals. And that is why we do have lots of courses. There can be hiccups. Don't get flustered about it. You will pass with confidence. So all the best. Welcome again. Congratulations for actually getting into this faculty, and welcome again. Thank you. Who's the next?
Great, great. Thank you. Thank you, Marlon, Mr. Simpson. We can't do anything without him. Good morning, everyone. Great welcome again to everyone I know from all the programs. I'll introduce myself. I'm Risha Rafiq, Deputy Dean for Academic Advising and Outreach. And morning to all my colleagues as well, staff, and Prof. Harry, as we affectionately call him. So I think we're allowed to. He's given us permission to shorten his name. Welcome again to the faculty. And like people have mentioned before, you've done extremely well to get into the faculty, and you're going to have to do a fair amount of hard work to get out of the faculty as well. So I know this morning, Prof. Harry has really emphasized that the orientation you have is one that is very different from his one, sort of thrown in at the deep end. And I think it's really important that you realize how many support services we have for you and how many processes we have to help guide you and facilitate you through the program. So again, you have a number of schools and programs. I think you're all aware, but not all of you are on site at Mount Hope. Some of you are at the Coover site as well. So it's sometimes difficult to get your all your academic advising done cohesively, but we have a large committee, and I just want to go through the process of academic advising with you because it's so fundamental to ensuring that you access all the support services that you do have and you're not really alone in the program. I was very thinking that Prof. Harry was taking away some of what I was going to talk about this morning in terms of not having that SCA high school culture, because academic advising really speaks to empowering you as the student along your process. So we are not here to sort of spoon feed and just give you all information and you receive it. You're really here to interact. And I think that's one of the best sort of messages you could get this morning. So the process is really to make you maximize your potential going through the program. I do want to give a little bit of detail in terms of the presentation, just because it's a different structure to what you've been used to. So the academic advisors that we have, they're all supposed to be student-friendly, listen to you in an empathetic, sympathetic manner, and they're supposed to be filled with information so that any question you ask, we can guide you along the way. So our advisors have been trained, we do training workshops, and we sort of have a level, different levels of academic advising. You've already started the process, and you've been meeting with administrative assistants mostly, and they're what we call our level 1 advisors. So most of your information that you would need or questions that you have or issues that arise may be answered at this level with the administrative assistants. They're here to explain to you about the use of the registration system, banner, and fees, and so forth. So very important. All the schools and the programs have administrative assistants, and Prof. Clement went through the slide wasn't because you're just sort of not going to remember all the faces, but for you to know that there are personnel that you can address some of your concerns with. So just want to emphasize that point. The other type of advisors that you would meet, of course, when you actually start would be the academic staff. So the level 2 academic advisors are really those course conveners, course tutors, or when you get into the clinical setting, what we call clerkship coordinators. And what we don't want is for you to be only bringing issues to us when it's way down the line, when there's a sort of failure. So we're trying to see or get a red flag if there are issues that you're having. The academic advisors may call for a meeting, right? To have a session with you to try and find out what the issues are if you're having some difficulties with some of the assessments. So if you're struggling along the way. So don't mind that. That's a process to help you. It is not a punitive process, right? It's a process to engage and bring out your concerns. You can also initiate having a session. So I want to say that to you at the onset. If you feel you're struggling and you have challenges, try and initiate the academic advising process so that you can get help. We can maybe help you. We may need to refer you on to someone else. So sometimes it may be a different aspect. If it's financial, we can assist you with that. If it's counseling, there is also assistance with that. We've also introduced last year what we call the peer mentorship program. So that is persons just like yourself who sat in the hall last year 1 students. We've given them training this year, and they are able to now meet with you in this semester, take you on board as a sort of buddy system, and they can actually walk you through the process. So we found, or the researchers found, that peer mentorship, your own persons who've gone through the same program like yourselves, will actually probably help you, more effectively sometimes than some of the staff members. Okay, so we're trying to put as many different angles of support for you, and you just need to engage with the process. Prof. Harry is there, and he always has an open door policy, but at the same time, every single problem that you do encounter, we don't want you to just write the dean or email the dean or call the dean. We want you to try and go through the levels of advising that we have. So this is very important to recognize. If you're not getting your concerns addressed by the administrative assistants or the level 2 advisors, we do want you to seek help through your unit head first before you sort of jump in and say, well, maybe my father knows the deputy principal, and you give a call to somebody. Try and avoid that, because once you jump ahead in the system, everybody needs to sort of send you back down the line to actually find out what the issues are. So please try and go through your unit head. There will be a head of your department. There will be a director of your school as well. So we need you to go through those individuals, those personnel who are there to support you. And if not, as Prof. Clement had said, when you do have issues, then you'll be meeting him at the first call, Deputy Dean. And hopefully you won't have to meet him, right? We want to avoid that. So try and engage with the support systems that we do have. Just to mention also, a lot of the staff that you're seeing on the slides are part of what we call a academic advising and mentorship committee. So we do meet with everyone and through the schools and departments to try and ensure that if sort of common issues arise, we're addressing them over the schools and the systems. So you do have representation there. And the committee also, it's not only about academic advising and support. There's a lot of career development activities and personal wellness development activities. So mentorship also occurs in terms of specialization. If you're interested in specialty pathways, then we have senior specialist academic staff who will be able to be available for you through another type of mentorship program, right? One other thing we want to set at the start is that all the programs, as Prof mentioned, One Health, we want to ensure that from now, everybody is sort of adopting an ethical and a professional type of behavior. So you will see from year 1, we've introduced that in terms of your coursework. And it's a type of behavior that you're going to find out about people's personal confidential information. It's a sort of thing that you don't want to be meeting in a social setting and discussing outside of work. So try and develop an attitude from now that the way you must behave, a student of the faculty, and you represent the faculty and the university. So we want to ensure that you're behaving in a certain way that we could all be proud of. In terms of personal wellness as well, they've had, maybe in the last couple of years, we've been able to have a counselor, a personal professional and development officer for the faculty itself. So usually we are across here at Mount Hope, but a lot of your student services are on main campus. And we've managed to get our own personal counselor and professional development officer. So he's one person, and on the other slide, I'll speak a little more about. But it's important to know that on site, you will actually have somebody if you need to access support services as well. And we want to encourage you at an early stage to be able to access services. So he's on site on Tuesday and Thursday at your student recreation center. There's only a few names I'll put up because they're such key personnel, and he's one, Mr. Richard Camacho, and he will be available to you. You just need to email and we can get you in line with an appointment. Of course, I think Mrs. Vicklin Patterson-Coombs somewhere in the audience, and Prof has already mentioned how busy she is. Yes, and she's a key person that most of you would have already all met. Definitely for all your registration and fee concerns. So another key personnel to be to be ensuring that you're in contact with and you have access to. You've met Ms. Ramata Singh. She's been emceeing the proceedings this morning for you, and she is assistant to 3 deputy deans. So I dare say she's kept very busy as well. Besides the personal email, we encourage you to use the Deputy Dean Basic Health Sciences email so that you can access academic advising with Prof. Clement via that email. And just now, for me to close off any other issues that you may have, we have all the administrative assistants in the school that you'd be able to first port of call. And we have Mrs. Nisa Philip Roberts, who is our administrative officer, or the faculty, who Prof. Clement called the boss. So she runs all those types of affairs. If you have any other concerns, you can access her before you access the dean. We are also reminding you to use your official UE email for all these types of contacts. So I think it was brought on me to sort of bring you in stream with the faculty-specific rules and regulations. I know everybody's been very nice welcoming you, so I want to do that again before I end. Welcome you, encourage you to not only take up your academics, but really to join every single club and program, any extracurricular that you can, and absolutely try and make friends or, form groups among the different disciplines as well, because not only do you get to be with persons, say in your own degree, if you're doing dentistry, I'm in the dental school, so I kind of use dentistry as the example, but you're able to network for the future. So you're actually going to know a vet later on in life. When you need a vet, you'll know a dentist, you'll know a pharmacist, a nurse, an optometrist. So it's really good for you guys to take part in all the activities that we offer and try and break out of just the study mode that you're accustomed to. Try and strike that balance from studying and recreation. And that's the only way you can actually get through some of these programs, in one piece. By the time you're doing 3 years, most programs on campus would have been finishing. A lot of you have another year or even a 5th year. So you're not in a sprint program, you're in a marathon program. And you really need to use all the support services that you have and need to get that balance, as Prof was saying before, really get out there and do things for yourself rather than having someone do stuff for you, right? So again, welcome. Thanks for the presentation. Thanks for paying attention. And I look forward to seeing you all during the year. Best wishes. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Prof. Rafiq. So a question, everyone would have seen a copy of the orientation schedule by now, right? Yeah? So there would be some minor changes that were made, right? You all would have been having for the MBBS students, the DVM students, the DDS students, and the pharmacy students. You guys would have been having PBL tomorrow. It has now been postponed and it is going to take place on Wednesday. So tomorrow morning, I believe the School of Veterinary Medicine is having their orientation. So the rest of students would have a free morning, right? Also, I did invite the schools to raise their hand and see who signed up to the different respective areas of study. However, I forgot the PHPP students. So are the PHPP students here? Can I see a raise of hands? Right. Round of applause for PHPP. I know you all can see how very busy I am this morning, right? So I apologize for forgetting you guys out, but the main thing is that you are here. So our program continues. We now have from the Division of Student Services, Mr. Jarrell Alder. He is the manager of student engagement, and his focus is on fostering out of classroom activities, right? Engagement, promoting campus, involvement. Sometimes you guys would see, who here is on Facebook? Anybody on Facebook? I'm not seeing any hands. So nobody on Facebook? I've seen one hand. Just one person here on Facebook? Everybody knows what Facebook is? Okay, right. So you guys just fooling me. Instagram, social media, they are very active on social media, the Division of Student Services, and they offer a range of services, which he's here to tell you guys all about. So without further ado, I invite Mr. Ola to come up to the stage. Thank you.
Right. Good morning, everybody. We can do a little better than that. Good morning. So much better. And thank you, Rihanna, for the very warm introduction. I am Gerald Alder, as you've heard, and this morning I'm representing the Division of Student Services and Development. And it's my absolute pleasure, FMS students, to share with you how you can maximize your university experience. So I want to start with this statement on screen, and I want us to take a moment to look at this statement, and hopefully it resonates with you, because we are talking this morning about an experience that is before you. And certainly at the Division of Student Services and Development, we want to encourage you to maximize this university experience. Can I see the hands of those who are ready to explore everything that UWI has to offer? That should be the entire room. Wonderful. On my next slide, you are seeing an illustration of the transition process. And I thought it important to share this with you because we acknowledge that this is a very, very important time in your life. You're seeing several different phases of this process. And I see the hands of you who might have some mixed emotions. You got your acceptance letter, very excited, and then you're having some mixed emotions. This is a safe space. Feel free to put your hands up. It's okay. All right. And that's understandable. Yes. If you look at the fifth phase, you're seeing integration and acceptance. And that's the phase that we want you to get at. We want you to become integrated into this campus community. And we want you to accept this opportunity that is before you. Yes. And so at the Division of Student Services and Development, or the DSSD, as most of you would come to know us, we pride ourselves on being strategic partners in learning because we understand that learning occurs in and outside of the classroom. Agreed? Agreed? All right. We pride ourselves on being your partners in development because we want to ensure that you develop holistically. There are several dimensions to self, and we want to ensure that your university experience, as you navigate, you are developing holistically. And finally, we understand that you're coming to you with a combination of personal and professional goals, and we want to partner with you to ensure that you achieve those goals. Yes? FMS, we could do a little better than that. Yes? All right. And so what you're seeing on screen now is a listing of our departments within the DSSD. Now might be a good time to take your phones out and take a snapshot of this. These are the departments that make up the DSSD, each department offering you a diverse mix of services, resources, opportunities to ensure that you develop holistically and to ensure that you succeed. So if I could run you through them very quickly: Office of the Director, Counseling and Psychological Services, Careers, Co-Curricular and Community Engagement, the department that will deal with all your career opportunities and student employment on campus. Or Financial Advisory Services Department. Can I see the hands of you who may be interested in scholarships and bursaries and student funding? Not many hands. Is it that we're all rich in this room? I love that. Our Guild Administrative Office, for those of you that may be interested in student leadership opportunities. Our Student Accommodation Office, for those of you, can I see the hands of you who are on JGI? All right, we have a few, wonderful. Student Activity Center, which is on the main campus, the Student Engagement Unit, which promotes campus involvement, and our Student Life and Development Department, which provides support for students with disabilities and medical conditions. This next slide is also one that you may want to take a snapshot of because it's a summary of all of the offerings at the DSSD. So I've listed the departments for you, but now you're seeing all of the opportunities that are available for you to take advantage of. But of course, you have to avail yourselves to the opportunity. Can I see a commitment that you're going to avail yourself to the opportunities that UWI has to offer you? That should be everybody in the room. Wonderful. I like this bunch. And so what we want for you at the DSSD is to attain a positive and enriching university experience. We want you to develop holistically and to maximize your potential. As FMS students, you have fantastic potential, and UWI is the place to explore that potential. We want you to succeed and to achieve your personal and professional goals. We want you to learn, explore, evolve, and feel empowered to become the best version of yourself. And so as I wind down this morning's presentation, I want to share some advice, what I call top 5 in your first year. So we're taking this one step at a time. So in your first year, here are the things that we want to encourage you to do. Meet new people and build community. Meet the right people though. Yes, building community is important. You're not going to get through this university journey on your own. You have a fantastic team at the faculty who will ensure that academically you are sound, and certainly you have a wider campus community who want to ensure that you are supported. We want you in your first year to prioritize and set first year goals. It's important to be working towards something. Agreed? Yes? We want you to create a healthy school life balance. You heard that from Prof. Rafiq as well. We want to ensure that you create a healthy school life balance. We want you to connect with the Guild. Can I see maybe the next Guild president from FMS? AA. That's a yes, that's a no? Connect with the Guild, a very, very important body that will represent your interests and your voice as students. And finally, in your first year, we want you to embrace your campus life experience beyond the classroom. This final slide is also one that you may want to take a photo of because it provides you with information on how you can connect with us at the DSSD. Yes, so for all of the opportunities that were shared with you this morning, just reach out to us. Let's talk about how you can benefit from these opportunities, from these resources, and from these experiences. And before I close, I want to invite a team of student champions who we call the DSSD student champions, and they are students just like you, really involved and really exemplary. And we wouldn't be the DSSD if we don't bring some energy into this room, and I think we need it this morning, right? So Joseph and team, if you can just join me on this side. We want to get some energy in this room. FMS, are we ready for some free stuff? Nah, man, are we ready for some free stuff? All right. So I want to hand you over to Joseph, and I want to say thank you and congratulations to all of you.
I don't know how far this extends, and I don't want to embarrass myself, so I'll stand here. So good morning, FMS. First of all, congratulations and welcome to the Pelican family. Give yourselves a round of applause. So we are some of your DSSD student champions, and our main goal here is really to engage with you. We put on events, we engage with you all the time on main campus. Over here at Mount Hope in Vancouver, we try to be everywhere we can and to just make sure that everybody has fun. So we're going to play a game today and a bit of student engagement, and you'll win some free stuff, and it's not a hard game. So you'll notice that we have 2 beach balls on stage, and they have questions on them. And what we're going to do is when I say go, they're going to throw the beach balls into the audience, and you're all going to bounce it around until the timer ends. When the timer ends, whoever has the ball in their hand, just hold it. It's not going to blow up or anything. Just hold it, and then we'll come to you and win a prize. The question's not hard. It's not trivia and thing. no kind of exams and thing. So I don't know if we have walk-in microphones. If we do have walk-in microphones, can we get one or two? If not, that's fine. No walk-in microphones. Okay, so I'll just shout when we reach. So guys, y'all could go down. We'll start one on this side and one on this side, and you'll bounce it around the room. Be careful of the camera. Go. 10, 9.
All right, so did you guys enjoy that segment? You got some information there? Um, so in my role as an administrative assistant, a lot of times students come to me to make queries about where they could get information from. And the Division of Student Services website has all the information that you would have also received today, right? So I encourage you guys to go and check it out. After orientation, you can see the different services. We have CAPS, we have scholarships. Seen Ms. Smith here today to talk about that too. But before we go to that, I am going to introduce Dr. Neil Singh, who is the head of the Health Services Unit on campus, which is very important for students to familiarize themselves with in the event that they have any illnesses. And I now hand over to Dr. Singh. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, staff and colleagues from the Faculty of Medical Sciences, for once again giving me the opportunity to speak to you. I've been doing this for over 20 years as new students. So I know you had a lot of fun just now, and I don't have any giveaways to give away. But I have some things, important things I want to share with you, and I don't want to slumber your moment. So we at the Health Services Unit, we are just like an ordinary health center back at home. And we offer primary healthcare services and support services, a number of services, most of which are free of charge for you. Okay? I'll explain to you our health insurance and so forth. 1 second. So this is a little picture of our health center. We're located just, for those of you who used to visit the Trinity Hall, it's no longer open, but it's right in east of the Trinity Hall, or east of, sorry, of that building. I'm trying to remember its name now. But west of the Trinity Hall. That's where we are located. Oh, this is the map here, but you all won't familiarize yourself with the map. Now that you all are Google experts, somewhere along there you'll find our health center. But we are also available online. We have a WhatsApp number, which I want to encourage you, 728-2408, where you can make your appointments for our clinics. That's the best way to communicate with us if you can't come across and see us based on your schedule. And of course, our website will provide you with a lot of opportunities to see what we offer on different days. So this is what we are committed to. This is our mission, our vision. And it's really a student-centered service. Staff don't really come to see us unless they fall ill at work. So, and they have to come with a letter from the head of department. So our services are designed primarily for students. We want to encourage you to avail yourself of those services. There are a number of useful clinics. For example, we have a dental clinic, we have a dermatology clinic, we have a family planning clinic, we have a sexual health clinic. The number of clinics you will find available to you. We consist primarily of a medical unit, psychological unit, what you call a mental health wellness unit, and we have an in-house pharmacy. With the pharmacy, you have to pay for your drugs, but there's a student health insurance which applies to you, where you can make a claim for refund and you get 80% of the money you spend on your pharmaceuticals. It's something that it's called Health Guard, and we want the Student Guard health insurance. You should avail yourselves of it. It offers you also access to the nursing homes nearby. And in cases of emergencies, when we are closed on weekends, if you're a registered student, you can present yourselves with your ID card to any one of the 2 nursing homes. And for the first day, you're covered up to $10,000. But thereafter, you have to pay a co-deductible of about 20%. So for example, let's just say you get dengue, you have to spend 7 days. We tend to send our patients to Mount Hope because it comes up to about $5,000 it costs to the student. Most students can't pay that. Even though you have the insurance, there's a co-deductible. But for run-of-the-mill, cough and cold, sprained ankle, broken, whatever, you go for, you can go at nights at the nursing homes and they keep you for a day. It fully covers, the health insurance fully covers you. And it's good for you to read what are the coverage of the insurance and to know what the deductibles are. They don't deal with dental and insurance. They don't deal with vision and insurance. Those things are not how should claimable, but anything else, mental health, physical health, anything else, you have access to the insurance. So confidentiality is one of the big issues we have with students, and you are now adults, and therefore your parents have no locus standi in your contract with us. We will not divulge information to your parents, to your faculty, to your lecturers, unless you request. So there's a form you come and you fill out for us to give you a report. And you find that form, and the head of the department signs that form, and only then we will give you a copy of your report for you to take to distribute as you see fit. Understand again, confidentiality is important to us. Understanding that you're adults, you come to see us, you and your healthcare provider, your nurse or your physician, we are the only ones who will have access to your information. And I want you to be assured that this is something that students have expressed to us already, whether my parents will or whether my lecturer will know and so forth. And they will not unless you expressly say so. You'll ask the questions after, if you wish, all right? So again, you see our appointments by email, our extension numbers there, which is usually very difficult to get through. But 728-2408 is our emergency number, which is also our WhatsApp appointments number. It's located in our ambulance. That is a number which should be here, but again, for emergencies, you have access to after hours. So these are the different services we offer at the health center. Again, you have your pharmacy services, your health and wellness services, immunizations. And we talk a little bit about immunization, what your requirements are for coming into campus. Your requirements are a little bit different from the rest of campus in terms of your entrance medical. Maybe we should talk about that now. In that you are the only students on campus who have to visit a doctor to complete your entrance medical. Part A, Part B. Part A is your health information, Part B is your immunization record, and Part C is your doctors. So most of your colleagues on main campus will not have to fill out Part C because of the nature of your profession, and your immunization requirements are different. So hepatitis, chickenpox, DPT, MMR are our mandatory vaccinations for you guys. I know it's difficult to get some of these vaccinations, and you will see when you register, when you go into your account, you will see a medical hold on your account. That medical hold is not restrictive. It will not prevent you from registering this semester. But once you provide us with your satisfactory medical, as most of you already started, we will remove that hold. But come second semester, if you do not provide us with entrance medical, there will be a restriction on your hold. And there are some students who come in at year 5 asking for their holds to be removed. They won't be able to graduate. They can't get a certificate. They can't do those things unless we remove the medical hold. So I encourage you, we will help you. We offer vaccinations at the health center as well. And right now, the country has no tetanus vaccinations. I want to be honest. So if you don't have a tetanus, you need a tetanus. We will keep your hold, but we will assist you in providing once we get from the government. The distributors don't have tetanus, so it's very hard to get. But I know most of you would have had your shots as a child, which is compulsory by law. but many of you don't. And that's why we're insisting on a public health good and keeping with when you're aware of it, minimizing the risk of epidemics of infectious diseases, we request that you complete and access these vaccinations. Hepatitis B and chickenpox are things you will pick up on the wards, things you will pick up in your dorms, pick what your close net, and you should. There are vaccinations for them. You should. But we offer other vaccinations as well. Yellow fever. There are plenty others we offer free of charge to you once the government provides us with it. So we are a health center that gets supplies from the government as well, and it's right within your compound. You could make yourself available and use these services. I'm not sure. Am I going back? No. So the other thing I want to talk to you about is, as you mentioned, a student group health plan, which is accessible to registered students. So there are many students who have not paid a registration fee for the semester, and they go up to the nursing home looking for health services, and they will then reject you, or they will charge you in full. Okay, many of you may. Please understand that any pre-existing medical condition is not applicable in this health chart. But should you develop a medical condition that requires significant surgery, we have seen it before. You can apply to the university. There's a clerk in the bursary who deals with students' health insurance for pre-approval, and the Guardian Life Insurance will approve your procedure, having provided necessary documents, and you may not have to put out much, just your deductible of 20% of the cost of your procedure. I'm just saying that for those very few who may, but if your condition existed prior to you coming to university, the insurance companies will reject your application. Okay, so if you need further information on that, feel free to come and see us at the health center. Should you have a problem that may have occurred while you're here as a student, there is major medical which you can apply, and it's also there on the brochure on the website for you to. The insurance is primarily designed for emergencies. It's not a full comprehensive insurance like the ones many of you may have, insurance from your parents and so forth. We are just here for emergencies only, to protect you in case of emergencies. So there are a few courses that we run, which we want to encourage you to participate in. These courses are for credits. They are called co-curricular courses. And the first aid is the first one. I'm not sure you may have to do it as part of your program, but we run a first aid co-curricular course, which gives you 2 credits. It's American Heart Association certified course, and you actually get a certificate from the American Heart Association after you've completed the course. It's 12 weeks, one hour per week, and it has been approved by ACWAC, the university, as a bona fide course. We also run meditation for holistic health. We just finished it's a yoga, the Raj Yoga Center. They have produced a syllabus, the university has approved it, and you can avail yourself of this course. It helps you dealing with a lot of your psychological and stressful issues, and it's a good course, and you get credits for it. This more applies to our students on main campus who are missing a few credits, but it also applies to those of you for your personal health. First aid and understanding first aid will not only help you while as a student, but help you at home, help you in your daily lives. And it's something I would like to encourage you to access. So we spoke about the entrance medical, and many of you say, well, I can't do a TB test or not. In lieu of your TB test, there's we can take a chest x-ray, okay? But you may see that your medical hold is off, but your vaccination hold is on. So if you don't have all your vaccinations, we'll keep your hold on, and we will ask you to join us, make an appointment to get your vaccinations with us, and how best we can accommodate you. You're not going to be, and many students come say, we won't be able to register if you don't get. No, you will be able to register. The hold is not a restrictive hold. Unfortunately, if you come from another faculty and switch to a faculty, and your hold is there, that is the hold that will give you problems because you did not complete your initial requirements on entering. But if you're a first-time student to the University of West Indies, as most of you are, you can still register with that medical hold. So this is the part A, B, and C of the medical form to be completed. As I said, you require to complete all parts. Most of faculties do not require. Part B is the immunization. Part C, medical certificate of examination, applies to you. So let's get on to a very touchy point, maybe my last point, that sick leaves and excuse notes for missing exams, missing classes, missing clerkships. We are happy to help you if you are sick, and we treat you for your illness. We are happy to help you and give you a sick leave to cover for a bona fide illness. The medical officers at the health services unit will not give you sick leaves for conditions that they did not treat, and they will not give you sick leaves for conditions that were in the past. So we encourage you. That's why the university has a free healthcare service for you. If you fall ill today, exam today, come and see us today. Don't come to see us on next week and said you were not ill and you want a sick leave. You will not get the sick leave. Many of you will feel inclined to go to your private doctors. Outside there, the healthcare profession is in such a horrible ethical state, I'm sad to say. And trust me, I know what I'm saying. That doctors, that patients and the public can go and buy sick leaves outside like a grocery. Let me assure you, every sick leave you submit must be approved by me, the head of the campus health services. And there are many sick leaves that I reject, and you are marked absent, fail. So do not expect that your GP gives you a sick leave for dysmenorrhea for 14 days and expect me to accept that. We get dysmenorrhea, I have no problem, 2 days off, but you cannot come with unjustified. In most cases, when I do not agree with the diagnosis and the period of leave, I ask for a full medical report from the attending physician, where I will review, and based on his explanations, I will then either assess and approve or continue status quo denial. So if you think you're going to be missing classes for extended period of time, no point bringing a sick leave, bring in a medical certificate comprehensively, I'm telling you, so I will save you some time. But again, the health services unit is here to help you. So if you're having problems coping, we have counselors at the unit. We know for the first time, within a month, you're going to have the services of a psychiatrist on campus where you can visit and you can go through your course. And once we have been seeing you, we are treating you, we have no problem in helping you. And no problem in offering you either course accommodations. For example, many of you, I've already had requests have come in with pre-existing disabilities, which you want to have some reasonable accommodation. You go to the disability office, you get your form, you bring your recent, within 6 months, documents from your healthcare provider, a specialist in the field, that I have a learning disability. I have a motor disability. I would like to have extra time for exams. I have an anxiety disorder. I would like to have exams in a private room. Those are things that are available to you, but you must provide supporting documents. You come to us at the health center and we'll approve it for you, and we'll send a recommendation to your faculty and to your disability office for those accommodations. And that's something that we're seeing more frequently now, and I'm a little bit concerned, but once you provide the supporting documents, we are happy to accede to your request. So health promotion and education is part of any primary care service, and we have a health and wellness unit, which we do a lot of outreach activities. We even come here, or we invite you to come to our site, and we are happy to come and do programs or to do particular outreach activities when we celebrate whether it is World Diabetes Day, World Contraception Day, World Mental Health Day. We're happy to partner with you, the students, in disseminating information to you. So your class reps could come to us, and we can work with them and help to provide some of these outreach activities on this campus, as opposed to what happens on our main campus. With that, I thank you very much, and if there are any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you so much, Dr. Singh. So no questions, right? You all know you're not emailing me sick leaves. Who you all sending it to? To who? Health Services Unit, right? All right, guys. So we're doing a little switch in the program this morning. As we are flowing with the Division of Student Services and the list of departments that they have, I am actually pleased to extend an invitation to Ms. Christy Smith. She's the Manager of Financial Services, right, over at DSSD. And she's here to talk a bit about scholarships and bursaries. Now, a lot of times students would come to me to query, Ms. Ramuta saying, you know, I'm having a hard time. My parents lost their jobs. Maybe some of them themselves might be working part-time jobs. They can't work anymore. They need to get money. They need to repeat a course. They don't have money to repeat the course. You know, things happen. Situations change. And there is a division that is able to help students, right, reach their goals by offering financial solutions. So Ms. Smith is going to come up and talk a little bit now about how you can apply for these grants and bursaries and some of the various grants and bursaries that would be offered.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Okay, that's much better. Thank you. And thank you, Ms. Ramutar Singh, for the opportunity to stand before this wonderful audience and share what will become very vital information for you as you progress through your years here on campus, whether you're doing a 4-year program or a 5-year program in the form of MBBS. Financial solutions, as Ms. Ramutar Singh indicated, would become a key aspect of, you know, the success along the way. You would have heard from Mr. Alda and his team earlier, and like Mr. Alda, who is from the Student Engagement Unit, my office is also located under that division, which is the Division of Student Services and Development. We provide that type of non-academic support to students to help them transition and to become that holistic student. This, of course, is a picture of our building. Are you familiar with this building? By a show of hands? Yes, what is the name of this building? Y'all are sounding like the good morning. This is called the Lloyd Braffett Building. It is important for you to know the name of the building. It houses the admission section, it houses the bursary, it houses the examination section, our postgraduate unit, the ID card unit, and of course, part of the Division of Student Services and Development. And the office that I am from is located on the first floor of this building. So if you want to visit us, we have an open door policy. We invite you to visit the Lloyd Braffett building on the first floor and ask for financial advisory services. So let's get a bit deeper into why I'm here. And what is financial advisory services? Well, we are here to provide financial aid, financial advice, and financial assistance to you. And how do we do this? First, I want to start off by laying the context of what financial aid comprises for students pursuing tertiary education. You would find that you can tap into a number of sources of finances, whether inside or outside of the University of the West Indies system. The first, of course, if we look at the UE itself, the University of the West Indies is a regional institution. Are you aware of that? Yes, great. We're off to a good start. And so we have our headquarters in Mona. And through our headquarters, from time to time, we are given scholarships. Each campus is given scholarships to support our students. And so this is one opportunity where you can tap into scholarship opportunities, which disburse funds in US and Canadian dollars. The minimum is 1,000 US and it goes up from there. And I'll tell you a little more about that as we progress. The second, of course, is GATE. Can I see by a show of hands how many of you are accessing GATE? Okay, so the majority of you. I know that our colleagues from the GATE office and from the UE bursary will be here later to tell you a little more about it, but just to advise you to pay very close attention to your GATE application. Please keep checking your emails. Check your emails every other day. Check in your spam because they are important bits of information that may be sent to you. And if you do not reply to GATE within a window of 14 days, your GATE application can be cancelled, is the word, cancelled. So you're progressing through the semester and you think it's okay, and then you end up by my office. And so I would love to see you, but if you can tap into government funding, then you can use the services we have to supplement the other areas of your tertiary education costs. With me? All right, great. We also have national scholarships. Some of you sitting among us today may be receiving national scholarships and bursaries. And once you are holders of these national scholarships and bursaries, you may not be entitled to apply for our scholarships and bursaries, but you can apply for our financial aid grants, right? There's a difference. And of course, speaking more to what we do, we have scholarships and bursaries that are privately donated, privately sponsored by members of corporate Trinidad and Tobago, friends of the UWI, alumni, campus community, some of your very own lecturers, the Alumni Association, the Medical Alumni Association. And I will tell you more about this as we deep dive into this area and about our financial aid programs. So here are some fast facts about our scholarships and bursaries. One, there are over 350 offered every single year. And they are available to full-time students that are pursuing undergraduate programs, which I imagine would be most of you sitting here today. Your GATE funding is not affected. And let me repeat that because we have had this ongoing challenge where students are not applying for scholarships through us because they believe it will impact your GATE funding. Our scholarships are what we call non-tuition based. It means that it's not mandatory that once you're successful at getting a scholarship that you use that to pay for your tuition. We give it to you to supplement the other areas of your life, and we literally give it to you. Just send it to your account once you are successfully nominated, approved, and once you accept the offer. And so you can apply for GATE and still hold the scholarship or bursary. Now, we've taken it a step further, and we've worked with the GATE office and the Help Loan office to devise a little clause in our scholarship offer letter that states that this is a non-tuition based award, so that even if you have to upload into the GATE portal information that you're in receipt of a scholarship in the last academic from us, it means that they will see that clause and know that it will not impact your means testing. Yes, you with me? All right, great. Another beautiful factor is that because our donors recognize that Academic excellence may be impacted by financial circumstances, socioeconomic circumstances. They have put their GPA at 3.0, which is like a B to B plus average, and some of them have even gone lower to a 2.5 GPA. And this is because they recognize that, well, firstly, you all are not doctors yet. So, you know, there are things that you would need to purchase. You may need to commute back and forth to the campus. And sometimes there are limitations based on your structures at home that may prevent you from accessing education in the way that somebody else might. And so the funds are there. They've lowered the GPA to accommodate for that little gap. 99%, well, let's say 98% of our scholarships and bursaries have a financial need component. So you know about means testing, because I saw you nodding earlier. Financial need is also based on our own assessment of your means. So when you apply for our scholarships and bursaries, you have to provide for us financial information that we will use to assess your level of need. In addition to the financial information, you will provide a narrative. So you can actually explain to us what's going on. And we read every single one and we score it so that we have a picture of what's taking place in your life. So if you come up for selection, we have a broad view confidentially as an office to say, yes, this student has met the criteria, and more so because we're seeing the deep need that the student is experiencing. So our donors have built that into their criteria. Our scholarships are a minimum of 5,000 TT dollars. That's about 736 US dollars. And I guess those who are online, you can do the conversion to your respective currencies. Some of our scholarships also offer paid internships. So in addition to getting this scholarship, the donor may want you to come and work for them. For example, we have scholarship donors like Methanex, Yara, CG's Caribbean Gas, and a number of others who want you to come in and work with them during the summer period. And you are able, once you get a scholarship 1 year, if it's not continuous, you're able to apply every year for this scholarship or bursary or others that you may be qualifying for. Specifically to the Faculty of Medical Sciences, we have a number of scholarships and bursaries designed specifically for you. And you can see it up on this screen, 1948 Medical Society bursary, which pays out US between 1,000 to 1,500 US. The Anya Schnur Scholarship, which also pays in Jamaican dollars. Caribbean Neurology, which offers a $5,000 scholarship to Holy Name Convent. So this is also very unique criteria. We have donors who have said, listen, in addition to us having a GPA requirement and a financial need requirement, we want to serve those students who would have attended our school. So Holy Name Convent, if you've attended there is a $10,000 renewable scholarship that's Holy Name Convent students can access. The same for Hillview College and the same for St. Joseph Convent, Port of Spain. We also have other donors who want to give to students who are in a particular area. So for instance, we have a donor who wants to serve students who are coming from Sangre Grande, and they offer $10,000 a year. You have to apply for it every year, and you must have financial need. We also have donors who want to serve the Mayaro Guayari area, and I know it may seem like that's a very distant location, but there are in fact students who are traversing from Mayaro and Guayari to the campus every day. All right, we see it, and that's why we're here to help through this type of funding. And so I invite you to look at our scholarship and bursary booklet so that you can get an idea of all the different range of criteria that may give you access to one of our scholarships and bursaries. So you may not have a 3.0 GPA, but you may be living in Sangre Grande, let's say 3.3 GPA, but you may be living in Sangre Grande with a 3.0 GPA. You might get access to that scholarship over someone who might have a 3.3 GPA and not living in Sangre Grande. That's how the criteria varies. And then again, the list of other bursaries and scholarships that are available, including that UE Development and Endowment Fund bursary, over 200 bursaries, and the main criteria is students experiencing financial need. Therefore, it is important for you to submit to us your documentation. I would have mentioned this before. These are some of the criteria that our donors look for. And I know that this presentation, along with the others, will be placed on the YouTube channel for you to view after. And very important for first-year students, the application period is open now. So we opened it from the 29th of August to the 30th of September. So first-year students, that's incoming students for 24-25, your application period is right now, and you're sending in one application to the main St. Augustine Campus Awards. You will see the title on top. Click on that, and then you go through and click the relevant boxes and fill out that biodata form. And that we will use in addition to the supporting documents to assess you for eligibility and award. Very, very important is that income and expenditure form, which is part of the supporting documents. And I'll tell you why. Because 99% of our scholarships and bursaries are based on financial need, have that financial need criteria. Now, some donors have grade point average, which is academic merit, as a little higher, but most of them have financial need. The only way we can assess you for financial need to determine your level of need, to see how best you can qualify, is if you submit this income and expenditure form and you have it notarized. We've actually gone a step further to make it easier for you and brought a notary to the campus. And she charges $20 to have your documents notarized. We will start that from next week, now that semester has begun. Yeah, so you can always call our office and get the information. Of course, once you're submitting data, you have to provide evidence, because we are also accountable for the funds we disburse. All right, so if you're saying your mom, your dad, your guardian, your church, an NGO, a non-governmental organization, friends, if you're saying that this is your form of income, you have to show us the respective document. If your mom is employed, you send us a job letter or a pay slip. If your dad is self-employed, he has to do a letter and have it notarized. If you're getting funds from a church, you get the church to do a letter. If you're using from your savings, just a brief outline of your bank statement would suffice for us. But there must be evidence to support. With me? Am I going too fast? All right, great. Like I said, I'm on the first floor of the Lloyd Brafford building. My team and I are here to assist you, so feel free to drop by anytime. All right, and so there are also some bursaries that require you to be engaged in extracurricular and co-curricular activity. Dr. Neal spoke about first aid and so on that's offered. But if you have done stuff in sixth form, if you are part of your community, you do volunteer work in your community, if you perhaps were part of Rotaract, if you are part of a church or religious mosque, temple, or religious organization, and you play a role there, you can get a letter from an authorized person, and you can submit that to us in addition to our extracurricular form, showing us how you've engaged over the last 3 years. Yeah? So please, also, if you are a student athlete, and I don't mean if you go by the pool and swim recreationally on a weekend, huh? I mean, like if you're actually involved in sport and you've played at the national level, you're part of a team, you're part of the UE team, and I want to invite you to join SPEC as well. There are a number of teams there. This is an opportunity for you to tap into funding. Student athletes, we have 10 bursaries valued at $5,000, sponsored by the UE Development and Endowment Fund. And we have one bursary valued at, a scholarship at $10,000 TT, which is donated by an overseas donor. Okay, so if you're medical students, yes, but if you're a student athlete, this is another opportunity for you to tap in. So for continuing students, that would be you come next year. So while you apply now as first-time students, we would open our portal again in January, from January to May, for continuing students. So you will have to apply again so that we could consider you a continuing student when you come back in September. Again, it's a lot of information, and I'm happy to share this with you after as well. Now, in addition to our our scholarships and bursaries, we have a number of financial aid programs now. These are the grants that I was referring to before, right? Remember I said, if you're a national scholarship or bursary holder, you can't hold a scholarship and bursary from UE, but you can access our grants, and these are some. Let me just go through it really quickly. The Adopt a Student program, available to full-time students at the St. Augustine campus. It gives you a stipend of $400 to $500 a month. Of course, you have to apply for it online. We assess you, and we usually put you on the program. Once you're eligible, we send the funds directly to your account every month across the semester. And very important is that the funds from this particular program are donated through the kind and voluntary contributions of members of staff at the UWI. Okay? Yes, I think that deserves a clap too. Yes. So they are also committed to supporting you. Now, once you access it for a semester, we usually put you on it again the next semester with an email from you requesting. But we try to also move you over to the scholarships and bursaries, because once you qualify for this, it's highly likely that you'll also qualify for a scholarship or bursary. So you will see that in our letters as well. These funds have been extremely important for MedSci students. I'll tell you why. When you start your rotations in particular, you would be traversing from wherever you live or from here to different hospitals all over Trinidad and Tobago. Some of you might be able to afford it. Some of you might think you're able to afford it until you get into it, and some of you may not be able to afford it, and that's where these funds come in. So I invite you to submit an application. We also have a hardship grant. This grant is a max of $5,000. It's usually a one-time grant, and it provides funds for major crisis. If you're short on funds to pay for your tuition, if you have a medical challenge, these funds are also here to support you. And we have had instances where MedSci students in particular apply for this grant to support when they are unsuccessful in a course. And this is another reason why I want to urge you to apply for the scholarships and bursaries. Do you know how much it costs to repeat a course in MBBS? Anybody? 9,000. Ding, 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 ding. Yes, that's correct. All right, 9,000 TT dollars just to repeat a course. I mean, life happens, right? And you want to make sure that at least you have the safety net in place. And that's why we are here. At least send in an application so you can have a chance to have that in place in the event of. Do you know how much a stethoscope costs? Right, everybody knows, right? Your lab coats. Are there any no dentistry students in here? Yes? Do you know how much a dental kit costs? Upwards of $30,000. And all of you have to get, all the dentistry students have to get one in year 2. And I can say this, not because I work in MedSci, but because students come to us for support. And because these grants are a max of 5, and sometimes we push it a little over depending, we want to urge you to apply for those scholarships so it could buffer where this cannot, right? I like you. What's your name? Joelle. I'm looking for you. I look forward to meeting you. All right, we also have a new fund. It's called the Dr. Keith Archibald Benevolent Fund. It's open to students from the OECS countries and CARIFORUM. It's brand new, so they're starting off with just a small $1,500, which we are ever so grateful for. And the funds from this support tuition, books, laptops, medication, rent, transportation costs, conferences, technical devices, stationery. And also important, these funds are donated by former members of the Freedom Hall on campus. They are dispersed all over the diaspora, and they've come together to not only support this fund, but they also give 5 bursaries to students from OECS countries. So my online crew and those who are here from the region, here's another opportunity for you, and look out as well for the Freedom Hall Network Group in the form of bursaries. Just as I wrap, to remind you, and you will hear a little more about this when Ms. Gooding and her team comes over later today, the university has made it very affordable and easy for you to make your tuition payments using the fee pay plan with 3 monthly installments. I won't go too deep into it, Ms. Gooding will tell you, but I want to say that it is very important for you to observe these 3 monthly installments. Because then, of course, you're going to end up by me, and I'll welcome you with open arms, but I may not be able to give you as much as if you observe this, and you don't want to get a hold on your account, right? And let's call an accounts receivable hold. There are also facilities, like I mentioned, outside of the UE, in the form of the UE Credit Union Education Loan. And this loan is available to students at UE. You have to have a co-maker, like a co-applicant, unless you're employed. It has a very competitive interest rate, and they work with the terms, they work out terms for you that are easy for you to make monthly payments. All right, and there are other loans from other financial institutions, and of course the help loan, which Miss Lovelace and her team will tell you about a little later. And again, I just want to stress here, accurate completion and submission of your GATE application is integral. In semester 2, we will host some financial literacy workshops for you, how to make a budget, retirement planning. Yes, retirement planning, right from now. How to purchase a car, what's the difference between buying a house and land, how to invest, how to step into your soft life era. I hope I got that right. I practiced that one, right? How to be a boss, what do you say, boss girl and boss guy? I'll get it for the next orientation. But we have some really interesting topics. The first session will be face-to-face for about 2 hours. The second and third sessions will be online for 1 hour each. So you will see the emails coming to you in your, through your student email address. And that brings me to the end of my presentation. I hope you got some nuggets of wisdom in there.
Wasn't that very informative? Yeah, I bet some of you all didn't even know that we have all these grants available for students, right? So, I mean, I will be sending out some information after orientation, but it's, you know, even if you're not sure of the website or where to go, I encourage students, look, just go to Google, type in UE financial aid, you know, just start somewhere, get the information, right? We also have our FMS website that students can access information from as well. So I will share that website with you all. Yeah? Are you guys enjoying the program so far? Has it been informative? Yes? Do I want a break? In a little while? I have someone really exciting coming up. So let's bring him up first. And just as you all are sitting here in the audience today, he was once a year 1 student, right? He has now grown into his role as the president of MSSC. Now, before I give you all what that means, does anyone know what MSSC stands for? Not my current students, my new students. Anybody knows what MSSC stands for? Anybody want to guess? Because you're all going to be a part of it. I'm hearing something on this side, medical sciences, student council. Okay, give yourself a round of applause. Right, so we're learning today. Good. So I'm going to introduce Mr. Luke Lutchman. He's the president of the FMS Guild, right? Let's not confuse that with the main campus guild. We have our own guild on campus here, right? You will learn about more of their associations and their involvement within the faculty. And now hand over to him, Luke.
Yeah, wait, no. No, no. Come back out. I didn't create enough folder, no. I did. You brought it in? Leave it still out there. I just drop it outside. I'll take it up for you. Right, scroll on to the bottom then. And I'll drop it from there. Right, that's it there, at the end. Yes, ma'am.
All right, good morning, everyone. So my name is Luke Lutchman, and I'm the Guild FMS rep for this 2024-2025 academic year. So first of all, I'd like to welcome all staff, special invited guests, and most importantly, well, let me make some noise now. All in year one, all in FMS is official. I know everybody worked hard for this when they did the CAPE and CSEC, so come. Hopefully our presentation today is nice and short, and it's to introduce you guys into the student life here at FMS. There's a lot going on, so you all heard about all the informative parts about academics and financials, but now we move on to the part where you learn how to integrate within student life within the faculty, right? And there's a lot to offer, and my goal is just to kind of give you an idea. I mean, one person knew what MSSC stand for. It's the Medical Sciences Student Council. But by the end of this short presentation, I hope that everyone has an idea of the general structure. And as Rihanna said, you are all part of the council as you join FMS. You're all part of your respective student association. So we hope that everyone remains vibrant as you all are now, right? So about the Guild Council, the Guild of Students is an association of students that just as you are part of MSSC, you are part of the Guild. Every student here, once you register within the university, you are part of the Guild Council, right? The Guild of Students. And then if you want, and I hope that some of you all sitting here today decide to be student leaders, because I was just in your position. I mean, my year one orientation was online, unfortunately, but I was just in your position not too long ago. So before you blink your eye, you would be here. So I hope that you as students become inspired to join student leadership. This is an integral part of your development holistically, right? So the Guild Council is a recognized means of communication between students and UE administration, right? This is an integral part because yes, we host events and we do these fun things, but student representation is our main goal. It's to ensure that your voices are heard, issues are brought up via the correct channels, so that nothing goes unfolded, right? So in terms of the Medical Sciences Student Council, it's the office of the FMS rep, right? That's myself, and I'm just simply that link from main campus to here. We are located in Eric Williams. We have an office you guys will see eventually. That's very close to the foyer that you would have walked in to come here. In terms of our mission, it's to strengthen the relationship between the students across the faculty and to be a true representational body that it can be. And our aim is to reconnect with the student population, right? So over this next year, you would see these things happening through various events, activities, and student representation. So we urge you guys to stay tuned for all of these things. Our key objectives is number one, to secure and promote the rights and interests of students of the FMS and to ensure the best quality of education. As I said, number one, student representation, and ensure that the academic performance and quality and the delivery of education you get is of highest quality. And number two is to initiate and execute actions that facilitate the personal and professional development, as well as promote unity and fraternity among schools. So one FMS, you'll always hear this, right? Yes, we have, you know how much schools you have in FMS? Right, so it's 6 programs, it's really 5 schools. The optometry program falls under the School of Medicine, but 6 is the number we just go with because optometry has its own association in terms of student representation, right? But it's 6, right? We have the School of Medicine, School of Nursing, School of Dentistry, we have the School of Veterinary, we have optometry, and pharmacy, right? That's the 6 schools there. Didn't leave out any. Right. So one FMS. So again, it's a foster, and that's the main goal of MSSC, right? So eventually you'll see the structure and you'll realize that every school has its own student association, right? But MSSC just it's really there to form a link, make everything very cohesive to ensure that we don't operate just as MBBS or we don't operate just as dentistry, but we come across as one strong, unified body, right? Because it makes a difference. And that's how we make change in terms of the Guild Council and bringing things and major decisions and major projects and initiatives. They're taken seriously when it's one voice, right? So, and fraternity is a very strong word. I want you guys to remember that. And one tip of advice I would give, and the dean always loves to talk about FMS as a fraternity, and it is a fraternity because we look out for one another. Meaning upper years always pass on information to lower years. It's something you'll always see. So as you move forward and you move up, always remember that to look out for you ones below you because we try our best to look out for you as you now enter the faculty. And number 3 is to foster good relations among FMS students and the larger everybody. So we still try to integrate with main campus, as there are a lot of things on campus for you guys to take part in, especially clubs and events. So you will see more of that, but our main goal is really based in Mount Hope, and you will see there's a lot going on here with the associations and the clubs that we have. Right, this is our faculty logo here, and if you guys pay attention to it very closely, you will actually see a bit of every school in it. Right, that's promoting our one FMS. Right, so I mean, you'll see this on our merchandise, so you can try and figure it out now, and you will see it. And yeah, and the merch is something I'll talk about coming to the end, right? So in terms of the general structure of the council, right? So, well, there's the FMS rep, which is the link between Guild and MSSC, but then there's the executive, right? So we have basic positions, vice president, secretary, basic roles they have, treasurer, PRO, and the roles that I will introduce at the end of my presentation is the presidents of the associations, right? So every school has an association, right? So we have the Dental Students Association, we have the Nursing Students Association, Medical Students Association, Pharmacy, Optometry, as well as Veterinary, right? So we have all these associations which offer representation at that school level to ensure everything is brought up through the correct channels, right? And then we have some other subcommittees that help us initiate the events and activate the events that are known, that MSSC is known to bring forward to the students. So we have like our sports committee, which will host our annual football and cricket tournaments. Something, so I hope we have some sporting people in here. How much people play cricket and football? I mean, I know I'll be shy for. I hope that we have interest when the event starts, right? So you will see, especially football happens this semester. So I hope that you guys are interested when this time comes, right? So just to go on, these are your associations here. We have the logos, so you can just recognize them and you will see more of it, especially at our FMS Fest. You will get to meet all these associations. You will get to meet all the clubs, right? And then we have academic-based clubs, faith-based clubs, service-based clubs, right? So all of these are clubs that you can look out. I know we have a lot of opportunities at Mount Hope, and I hope that there's a club for everyone. I think there's a club for everyone. So that's why we have separated them into academic, faith-based, and service-based. So whatever your calling is, you have that opportunity to join any of these clubs. They are willing, they are open, and when is the time to join? Because trust and believe, if you do start now, they probably just wouldn't bother with it as you move up because the degree just gets busier as you move up, right? So I urge you guys, it's important, it looks good, and it builds you up to be a holistic individual as a health professional. And I can speak from experience that it helped shape me into the person that I am today, because I was able to give back to the faculty, to the students, and also to persons outside too, beyond the classroom and clinical experience that is offered, right? So just to go through quickly some of the large events that you guys can look forward to. So FMS Fest is the first one that's coming up on Thursday and Friday. I don't know if you guys started to see anything from it yet. I know that you're probably not following Instagram yet, but by the end of this presentation, I hope that everyone is, right? And you will start to see more of it in your chats this week as we get closer to the event. But the whole idea of FMS Fest is simple. It's just to introduce you guys to student life. So yes, you will meet you meet in MSSC now and the student associations briefly, but you get to see all the associations out in your tent. So you get to see all the clubs. You get to interact. They'll have games. They'll have giveaways. I don't like free things, so come out. There are a lot of free things to get, right? And it will allow you to really see what the club is about and see if you are interested in that club. Because as I said, there's a lot going on in terms of the clubs, right? So that's essentially FMS Fest. It's a 2-day event. On the Friday, on the other hand, so the Thursday is the Club Expo, where you will meet all the clubs and the associations. But the Friday, essentially, we have an entrepreneurial expo, so where we have some student-owned businesses. They come in to showcase their talent, their services, their products to you guys, you know, and it's something that you could come out to, and very reasonable cost, very high quality products. It was successful last year. So I hope you guys come out and check them out too on Friday. And on Friday, we also have some games, some giant games that we rent, and you guys could have fun with. It's something to come out and to just start a bond with your peers some early, right? Because you guys are going to be here for the next 4 to 5 years for all the programs. The shortest is 4 years. It's a long time, right? So it's good to just start to build that connection from early. So the next thing, as I mentioned, is football. You'll always see more things than that. We would send out a registration form by next week, and you'll get access to that. And I hope that the year ones take part. You'll put forward a team. You'll get more information, but it's really fun. It's very competitive, and it's usually we do it school-based. So it's a little competition. So it's a little a healthy school rivalry we build. So at least build some nice heat in the faculty in that sporting realm, right? Same thing happens with cricket, as you watch, but that happens in the semester too, around March to April timeline. In terms of the next event, we have the FMS Health Fair. So this is something that, in discussion with all the presidents, as well as the faculty, the dean of the faculty, Professor Harry, this is an initiative that we all see as something to bring back to the faculty. There was something that was present before, I understand, pre-COVID. So we strive to help bring this back. It's a health fair. We as medical students, our next tip I will give, take care of yourself, because the next couple of years is going to be tough. You're going to probably be having a lot of sleepless nights. You're going to be not eating as good as you want to eat, exercising, all these things. So I encourage you to try and take care of yourself, because we as healthcare professionals, so ironically, we tend to not take care of ourselves as much as we should, even though we profess it to our patients in the future, right? So that's a bad advice. I mean, because it only gets harder. Try and get that balance from now, so that you have that healthy working environment when you when you reach out into the world of work, right? So that's what one of the goals of the health fair is just to promote a healthy mental, physical, and emotional well-being, right? So our next thing you can look forward to around Christmas time is a Christmas concert/play. It was really big last year. It was successful. We teamed up with IVCF, which is the InterVarsity Christian Fellowship, right? That's one of our faith-based clubs, right? So something, again, you guys can look forward to for those who love Christmas. It's a nice event. And then last but not least, it's Fun Day, which, as the word says, it's a really fun day. It's filled with, it's our spin on a sports day. It's not as athletic. The games are more, they are more spread to accommodate a wider range of people. So that's why it's fun. It's just for you to come and have fun and enjoy the event for what it is. Again, very successful event that we brought back, as COVID did put a halt to it for when we started back. We had two successful Fun Days so far, and I'm proud for us to push forward this next third one for it to be even better than the last. So these are some smaller events. There'll be workshops and seminars throughout. We'll also have a games night and a hackathon, right? So that's essentially my segment completed. I hope that this offered to you guys some kind of understanding of the Medical Sciences Student Council, the general structure of it. These subcommittees that you all saw, like the sports committee, the games committee, these various committees, they will be open for each and every one of you to apply to, right? So if you want to get involved from early, these subcommittees are open. When you see the call via our Instagram, you all will be able to sign up for these committees, right? So what I would like to just talk about really quickly, and what it will require everyone to do is, I'm sure most people have the Wi-Fi. If you can quickly pull out your phone, scan this QR code, and it will link you to our Instagram, right? And this is how you will stay up to date with what's going on. And most importantly, if you see the middle of this picture here, you'll see the merch, right? You see the t-shirt, the hoodie, and the sweater. Right, so this is our faculty merch. This is a highly popular merchandise within the faculty. right? So we have items to give away that was sponsored graciously by some of our corporate sponsors, right? So, and each and every one of you could win. Well, I mean, we have a limited amount, but you guys could definitely tune into the Instagram and look out for the instructions as to how you could enter this giveaway and join a part and be a part and get a chance to win one of our merch, right? Also, too, what we have as well is other giveaways at FMS Fest. And these things I don't have them unfortunately with me now, but we will have them in time for Thursday. So once you go, you follow the Instagram, you keep tuned to the page. Again, as only if you follow it, you'll be able to see when the giveaway happening, what is you have to do. And you'll also see the other stuff that we have to offer in the fest coming up, right? We have some brochures as well to the PRO and some other student reps will hand out as you're exiting. That's again to give you some more info on FMS Fest, right? Because this is that upcoming event that we a lot of work went into through all of MSSC, all the student associations, all the clubs are working hard to make this event possible. So we hope that everyone comes out to enjoy it, right? We also have a lot of sponsors that made it possible, like the Dean's Office. Let's thank the Dean's Office. We'll thank the Medical Sciences Library, SPT Medical, A. Lakis, Hysteria Creations, Guardian Group, and these are just to name a few of our sponsors that made our event possible. And that's why I really hope to see each and everyone at FMS Fest. Lots of giveaways, lots of fun, right? We also have on top of the merch that you could win, there will be like things like our water bottles, notepads, different things. Let's come. But the only way you can win those things is if you follow that page and you just do a little scrolling, figure out what, and when you go back on your history, you'll see some of the things that would have been done, and we'll ask you simple little trivia questions on the day, on the Thursday and Friday, and you'll get these giveaway items, right? So it's a fun way to get some free items as well as to stay up to date with what we have to offer. So as I come to the end of my segment, what I'd like to quickly do at this point is ask the presidents of the associations to walk up and just quickly introduce themselves so you can know their faces. They're all going to talk very short. So at least they know, at least you guys know who are the various student association presidents, right? So guys, you can walk up now. Yeah, you'll give it up for them, give them some inspiration to come up. So we have first walking up here, we have the Dentistry Students Association acting president. So she's actually vice president, but right now there isn't a president elected yet. So she will be acting in the interim. So this is Shreya.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So I'd like to formally welcome everyone today, especially the dental students. My name is Shreya Buru, and I'm currently the Vice President of DSAT for this academic year. So I'd look forward to collaboration with MSSC to plan and execute events for this academic year. And also for the dental students and everyone, you all are invited to our annual Freshers event. The date would be announced soon. So I'd like if you all can follow our Instagram page at the SATA Executive. Thank you.
All right, so now we have Adriel Singh. He is the pharmacy president, and he will let's come and say a few words.
All right, good morning, everybody. So as Luke said, my name is Adriel Singh. I'm the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Organization of Pharmacy Students, aka T-TOPS or TOPS. It's so exciting to see so many new faces and such vibrancy among the new year ones. Give yourself a round of applause. Thank you. Shout out to the pharmacy students. We hope to see you all involved in our student activities. Just a quick word of advice. Pharmacy is not just, and pharmacists are not just about dispensing drugs, reading a note from us or a script. We are specialists in drug information, drug knowledge, anything drug related. Yeah. So wear that with pride. We are T-TOPS. We are pharmacists. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Adriel. So now we have coming up, we have Chris Guevara, and this is our nursing president.
Good morning, everyone. Firstly, I'd like to say congratulations to all of you that have made it to this milestone. Give yourselves a round of applause. And also, I would like to big up all of my nursing students. Can I see the raise of hands? Give yourself a clap. Oh, look at the numbers. Yes. Right. So I look forward to seeing all of you all at Couva. One word of advice, it's for nursing. Nursing is not difficult. Right? Nursing is not difficult, but it is a lot. It is a lot. It's a very um heartwarming profession. You connect with patients on a much different level. And the impact that you have as nurses, well, future nurses and nurses, it's beyond anything that you would think, right? So good luck, I would like to say, and welcome again. Give yourselves another round of applause.
All right, thank you so much, Chris. Now we move on to Josiah Butcher, and he is the president of the Veterinary Students Association.
Good morning, everyone. Can I just see the vet students in the house, please? Can you raise your hand? Hi. Let's see. Give yourselves a round of applause. Give yourselves a round of applause. It's my pleasure to introduce myself as the president of the Veterinary Students Association of Trinidad and Tobago, VSAT for short. Whether you're just starting on your veterinary journey or are well on your way, our association offers opportunities to enhance your education, build professional networks, and make lifelong friends. Joining the Veterinary Students Association isn't just something to be added to your resume. It's an opportunity to grow and build yourself, edify each other alongside like-minded people. We welcome all students. If it's your first year, second year, third year, but most times all of y'all are in your first year. So we welcome you all. Thank you for your time, and we hope to see you at our next event, which is upcoming. Stay tuned for that. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Josiah. So now we move on to Stephen Gajada, and he is the president of the Medical Students Association.
So hi everyone, my name is Stephen Gajada, here for medical student. And I would have met most of you all already through the, I think it's MBBS advice session that we would have had. I didn't prepare that. Sidika and Biko prepared that, but it was done really great and most of you all would have been there. And basically for TTMSA, the Trinidad and Tobago Medical Student Association, what we do is we advocate for you. When you go to the exam and the OSCE and the patient has been real difficult and all of you all feel the station, you'll come and tell the rep, we advocate for you. When you do the final exam and you all get 35 out of 70 and end up doing bad in the coursework and you fail the course, we try to get the coursework mark dropped. We advocate for you. What we do again is when the students and PBL listings going real hard and the PBL tutor kind of taking advantage of you and picking on you, which does happen, this is real life, we help you. So this is some things that we do, right? Also, what we're going to do again, we have seminars every month that you all could join and be part of. And all of you all in MBBS, I know the majority here is MBBS, all of you all already are part of our association. And all you have to do is communicate with your rep communicate with me, and we try to solve all problems with the help of Luke. And through their events, and now us being part of MSSA directly, we try to cooperate with them and make one FMS. And that's the whole goal here, right? So that's it for my talk here. So I hope to see you all soon.
All right, thank you so much, Stephen. And that's last but not least, let's introduce our Vice Chair of the Medical Sciences Student Council. That's Christoph Stuven, for him to say a few words, and we'll close off our presentation.
Hello, good morning, everyone. You're falling asleep or what? Well, I'm here to wake you up a little bit. Good morning again. My name is Christoph Stuven. I'm a year 3 medical student here at this faculty. I'm your vice chairperson. Also, I am the chairperson for the Student Voice Committee. Right? So basically what my role and function is to take all of your input, all of your feedback, ideas, anything that you want to see our faculty doing, compile that information, and then we host events based off of that, seminars, workshops, and things along those likes. So my main function is actually to liaise with you, speak with you more than anything. So I rely on you guys to complete and fulfill my role as the vice chairperson. All right. Some of the events, as you see, are coming up. I help organize those events along with Luke, because I'm his right-hand man. Without him, he might fall down on one leg, right? So, but no, Luke is a very, very good. He's very well experienced. He's been in the MSSC for 4 years, and I've been there right underneath him for the last 3. So anything that you guys see, or if you have any feedback, we have feedback forms on our link tree. Also, you can approach me at any point in time. If you happen to see me on the corridor, you happen to see me on the wards, I will always be willing to have a conversation with every single student here. I'd like to heartfully congratulate every single one of you for reaching this far. Getting into medical school is not an easy task. I know for me it was not easy, it took a while, but I am very, very proud to welcome everyone here into the Faculty of Medical Sciences. And I hope to see great things from all of you. And please do not be afraid to join our committees. We want medical students from year 1, and we want them to be part of the student government and part of the committees in order to make FMS a better place. Thank you again, and congratulations to everyone.
All right, so that brings an end to our presentation. So I thank you for your attention. Again, congratulations, and stay tuned to our Instagram for more information on our events. Thanks again, everybody.
Thanks, Luke. Thanks, team. You see, guys, I remember them from year 1 sitting just as where you are. And this is one of my favorite things about my job. To be able to see my students grow and develop, it's always a wonderful feeling to see. Sometimes I have students who are graduates that still stay in touch with me, and it makes me feel really happy to know that we served well. So we're gonna take a 2 minutes. I think we need to wake up a little bit. And what I want for you all to do now, right? Just a little icebreaker. I want you to turn to the next person next to you and just tell them your name and the program that you're doing. Wake up a little bit and say it proud. That's helping us to wake up, get to know each other. I didn't say no long, long conversation, eh? We breaking just now for lunch. Yeah. All right, so we all a little bit more acquainted with each other. I know some people might have come there by themselves this morning, not knowing anybody, meeting people for the first time. We're a family inside of here, right? And these are the people and pairs that you will get to know for the next 5 years of your program, right? So it begins today. And you may wonder, why do we have you all clapping so much this morning every time we say a program? Anybody knows the reason why? Medical school is one of the most competitive and hardest programs to get into. I have potential students that call me to find out about their admission. They didn't get accepted. They were deferred till next year. The list goes on and on. Who didn't make it by 1 mark to compete to get into the program, and it goes on and on. You guys here sitting today need to be extremely proud of yourselves, okay? It is a big milestone. It is a big accomplishment. And there are lots of people out there wishing that they could have been in this same orientation sitting down beginning their medical school career as well. So that's why I encourage students to feel proud, to clap, to wake up a little bit too, but we'll get back to that. Our next segment in our orientation schedule is going to be geared towards learning about the skills lab, right? And that is tailored towards the medicine and dental students only. So while that segment is going on, we have taken the liberty to set up tours to the different areas, right? And I actually have a medical sciences library tour stationed here. You will see the sign, right? Niala is holding the sign up. We have nursing students and optometry students. So I'm going to take a minute to invite all the nursing students and optometry students to come and meet Niala. You're going to follow her out the doors, right? Medicine students and dental students can stay seated. Right? So the medical students and the dental students will stay back to learn about skills lab, a very crucial and imperative part of your orientation to learn about. We're just going to give students a minute to get up and exit. Right? Medical students and dental students only for the next 2 segments. And then we will be breaking for lunch. I have also taken the liberty to have someone who is selling refreshments set up outside in the foyer area. They're supposed to be setting up. So when you get your official tours of the campus, you'll learn about the cafeteria and the rooftop and different places where you can buy food and drinks. Today for orientation and for the rest of this week, we will have providers set up around the amphi area. You must find them selling little food items and drinks. Have a question? What's that? Okay, so the pre-health students, y'all are going to meet Mrs. Bovell in building 42. Y'all are going to meet Mrs. Bovell. I'm going to send her a message now, and she will be waiting for you all in building 42. Y'all know where building 42 is? Yes, yes, yes. Or if you want to wait by that sign, the pre-health sign, I will have her come and meet you all there. All right, so while the rest filter out, I'm going to invite Dr. Kuri, who is the coordinator for the Skills Lab, to come up and do his presentation on, yeah. You guys up in the back there seeing good? Yeah? Ready for lectures from next week? You all have good vision quite up in the back there, or you all want to come down a little bit closer? Anybody need some binoculars or seeing? No? What is going on here? I tested my eyes twice, and it's still the same prescription. I just yeah. All right. So I hand over now to Dr. Kuri. Thank you.
Thanks, Rhiannon. Good morning, everyone. I think it's still morning. I know you all are tired, so my intention here is just to really be brief about this and give you an overview, because for those of you who have your lectures next week, you're going to get this in a little more detail. So I'm Steve Curry. I'm the Skills Lab coordinator, but that's not my only role. I'm also a child health lecturer. I was previously the final year coordinator for the pediatric department. I'm also the DM pediatric coordinator, so I wear a lot of hats. But I'm going to talk to you in this morning in context of Skills Lab. So when you become doctors, you are going to have to be able, and in your journey to becoming doctors, you're going to have to learn some skills. Those skills include the ability to take a history, so talk to a parent or an adult. You're going to have to be able to do an examination of that person, whether it be a child or an adult. You're going to have to think about what the possible causes of why this person is presented to you. You're going to have to think about what investigations you may or may not need to do, how to interpret them, and then come up with a management plan. So that's your journey. You're going to start with learning the science of things, and then you're going to go into how that translates into the clinical years. So that's where the skills lab comes in. So in terms of what I'm going to talk about, just briefly, what the outcomes of the skills lab session is, we're going to really look at some case examples to illustrate why you need to do what you need to do. Briefly talk to you about how you're going to be assessed, because I know everyone wants to know what are coming for the exams. A few housekeeping rules, and Prof. Harry and Prof. Clement already mentioned a couple of those this morning, and how we in the Skills Lab are going to communicate with you independently of how you communicate with your MSSC and TTMSA reps. So the aims of Skills Lab are really to prepare you to take a history during examination, be competent at skills, and we'll go over what those skills are, and how to communicate. One of the problems with our profession is that we tend to be paternalistic and talk down to people, and you learn how to talk comfortably at a person's level. So if you've ever been to a doctor and they don't know who you are or what you want to do, or you've got the experience of taking a family member, sometimes you would encounter a healthcare professional who was very judgmental or condescending, and that's what you try to train out of you, because there's no reason for it. Medicine is now considered a partnership, so when you're actually explaining what you want to do in terms of management, is that you're offering choices, and the parent or adult tells you what their choice is going to be, with some guidance from you. So parts of the history, we're going to teach you how to take a general history as well as histories in different parts of the body systems. We're going to teach you how to and get you to practice how to take do an examination of all the major body systems. So your cardiovascular system, your respiratory system, your stomach, your joints, to help prepare you for your time in clinics. And then we're also going to teach you and get you to practice basic life support. Everybody should be able to do basic life support, whether you're a healthcare professional or not. And it's a skill that you will take with you and hope you never have to use it. I have to say, I've never had to use one out of hospital. But it's a skill that you need to learn, and you will have the opportunity to practice it and rehearse that throughout your 5 years in medical school. Some of the basic procedures that we also do is things like IM injection, suturing, venipuncture, so how to take bloods, how to put in a cannula for those of you who've had bloods taken. We talked about communication and how to, starting from your PEC course, but going throughout your 5 years, how to maintain professional ethical standards for our profession. Our profession is one of the professions that's held to the highest regard, and as a consequence, has the most demands placed upon us. And Prof. Harry and Prof. Clement already alluded to that we are treated higher than the average person because of the nature of our profession. And so we will demonstrate aspects of professionalism and ethics, and you learn that from the word go as you hit the ground running. So where does Skills Lab fit in? So for all of you, you're going to start learning the science of medicine. So you're going to learn about anatomy, biochemistry, physiology, pharmacology, and pathology. All those are the science. That's the scientific underpinning of how the human body works. When you get to the final years, that's years 4 and 5 for the MBBS students, you're going to learn how to take a history during an examination, procedures, how to come up with a management plan, all the things I said to you at the beginning. And that's an art. So you're going to learn the science and you're going to learn the art. Where Skills Lab comes in, it bridges that gap. It helps you learn how to do the examination, how to take a history in a non-threatening environment, because the simulated patients that we're bringing have nothing wrong with them, but they act like a real patient. So you're in a controlled environment that we can control and you can control to help you get that skill, to help you get over that initial fear that you may have of talking to patients, examining patients, and therefore it prepares you much better so that when you get into the clinical years, all you've got to do now is just practice your skills. There are some differences in the different specialties, but we've laid the foundation for you, and therefore it's just taking that foundation and building on it. The code for Skills Lab is MedSci 3404, but unlike some of your other courses, MedSci 3404 takes place over 3 years. So it's a 6-credit course that takes place over 3 years, starting in year 1 and ending in year 3. And you do see, your days of that you attend Skills Lab varies according to what year you're in. So for you who are in year 1, your sessions occur on a Wednesday afternoon from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Some of your lectures will be face-to-face, so whole class teaching. And then once we've completed that, you get to practice in the Skills Lab setting, whatever your lecture has done for you. So it'll be about history taking examinations. So you'll get the didactic stuff, and then you'll come to Skills Lab or its affiliates and practice those skills or rehearse those skills. You'll do that in smaller groups. So the way we tend to deliver it on a modified version of how we should teach psychomotor skills examination. And there are lectures provided for you, so you will hear about it. There's videos that are placed on My e-learning from McLeod's, which is your recommended textbook. Some of the faculty members have also kindly produced videos for you, so you will see how to do it. So you hear it, you will see it, and then what you do is you learn about it, and then you come do it. When you come to practice these skills in Skills Lab, you will get feedback from the tutors. So you practice it, and they'll give you feedback on what you've done wrong, or what you could improve on, or what went well for you. Please be aware that you can also practice this on your family. Yep. So for those of you who've got older brothers or sisters or cousins, aunts, uncles, they've got to be good for something, so you might as well practice on them. I have done that when I was an undergraduate. I simply called my cousin, asked him what he was doing, nothing. I went over, examined him for 15 minutes, say thank you very much, bye, and I left. Be a little more engaging than that, but practice. Because if you overcome your fears, then it's really easy after that. And there's no reason all of you should not do well. We've had no failures the last academic year, and I think the previous academic year as well. So some of the resources we recommend is McLeod's. Now there's a 15th edition available. You don't need to get that. How to examine a patient. It hasn't changed since I was an undergraduate. And the videos that are affiliated with McLeod's textbook, the videos are online. All this will be placed on a course information guide that will be on My e-learning for you. So the information is going to be there. I'm just kind of going over it very quickly. So these are some of the skills that you will learn in your year 1. So for example, this semester you learn about history taking, basic life support, phlebotomy, how to take blood and how to put in a cannula, suturing, and karma skills. And I'll come to what karma skills is in the next slide. So for those of you who are in dental schools, I know you're not supposed to use red when you're presenting, but for the items in red, you are not expected to attend those sessions. But all these sessions listed here, MBBS students are expected to attend. And that again will be clearly spelled out on your course guide on the appropriate shell. So KARMA skills. KARMA is an acronym for 6 words. So it's communication, advocacy, leadership, mentorship, ethics and professionalism, and resilience. And so what KARMA skills is meant to do is take some of those, what are sometimes referred to as softer skills, skills that are not directly related to the ability to take a history, but they have an impact on it. So you've got to be able to advocate for the patient in front of you, communicate with them. And at the same time, you need to have that emotional intelligence to be resilient, because you will come across certain things in your medical career that may be upsetting. And as Professor Rafiq said this morning, please make sure that you talk to somebody about it or you seek academic advising. Do not keep it in. No man is an island, and so we're all here to support and help each other. And so those skills, those sort of softer skills are what will be dealt with in those sessions. So how does this all fit in? So let's go quickly some examples. So you're seeing a 20-year-old man in the emergency department. He fell off scaffolding about 4 meters, which is about 12 feet, onto his left shoulder. You notice it's swollen, his arm appears deformed, and he may require surgery. He has a 2-inch or a 5-centimeter laceration on his forehead that requires suturing. He appears pale but is responsive. Sorry. So what are some of the skills you'll need to be able to bring to that patient? Well, you'll need to be able to do a cardiovascular history because he's pale and he may have some underlying condition. You need to be able to examine the shoulder joint, and you may need to be able to examine the central nervous system and assess how responsive or unresponsive he is. In terms of the skills that you need, you'll need to be able to take a blood pressure. It's not only the nursing staff's responsibility to do that. And are there nursing students here? No, they've all left. So pity, because it is not their job only. You need to be able to cannulate and take blood as necessary and know which tubes those blood's going to. You need to be able to give consent, informed consent, and you may be able to need to suture that laceration. So all those are skills that you're going to learn in Skills Lab and practice it at the outset as a foundation. So this is a 58-year-old man who's seen in the dental clinic, not to leave out the dental students. He's known to have hypertension and hypothyroidism, and he's controlled on medication. He had a mild stroke 10 months ago, and he's currently on Plavix and aspirin. Plavix is an antiplatelet drug. He last took it 3 days ago, and you think he requires dental extraction, and you figure this might be a bloody extraction, beg pardon. You are going to be able to need to examine his cardiovascular system, because hypothyroidism has cardiovascular effects. Hypertension has cardiovascular effects. You need to be able to take a blood pressure and consent. If he needs dental extraction, it might just be word of mouth. You might need to be able to suture. You also need to know that Plavix is an antiplatelet medication, just like aspirin is. And if there's going to be a bloody extraction, they need to stop it for at least a week before you do so. So you need to have some kind of knowledge in that respect. So it has some bearing on the dental profession as well. And finally, in terms of a case example, so you are the intern on a medical ward. Your next door neighbor has a 19-year-old son who's in hospital admitted at the moment. And she's asked you to look at his notes, find out if what's being done, and if everything is being done. He's not your patient, he's just on the ward. And then feed back to her what's been done. So the questions that we might ask you is, in terms of ethics and professionalism, is what would you do? Would you actually go and look at the notes? Would you tell your next door neighbor? What would you say to her or him? So all that is part of ethics and professionalism, and that is actually taught, and you're going to be also assessed on that. And you'll be explained what is the right and wrong thing. Now, ethics doesn't always have a right and wrong answer, but there are principles that guide your behavior to try to get your behavior to be the correct one. Oops. That's just a layout of the Skills Lab. So let me just show you the pictures. So hopefully you will come in the library area when you go on tour. So this is the entrance here to Skills Lab. You actually enter Skills Lab from the library. It's a sort of an offshoot. You'll see some chairs in front of it. And when you enter and you face forward, you will see what we refer to as the conference area. These doors are closed now. That's where some of your skills are going to be. And there are about 5 enclosed rooms, and they pretty much look like this. There's a sort of bed in it, sometimes chairs, sometimes desks, and there's a group of you that can surround yourselves while you're either practicing or having a demonstration of whatever skill is being taught at the time. Some quick housekeeping rules. Professor Clement mentioned it already. You are now a professional. This is your day 1, and therefore we expect you to dress accordingly. So unlike what Prof. Clement said, Mrs. Archibald is not to blame for your dress code. I am. You need to be a professional. So Mrs. Archibald is sitting right here. She's the secretary, and you'll see her just now. So you have to act the part. Otherwise, parents and patients are not going to trust you. Okay? That doesn't mean that you've got to necessarily wear a suit and tie. We discourage that. Certainly in pediatrics we do. But no ripped jeans where I can see your skin and more. And there's a sort of standard uniform that we recommend that you don't have to get and use your normal clothes for. No bags of food in the skills lab, no cellular phones, no taking of photographs of pictures, no recording of any conversations without prior consent. That has ethical implications. And you must wear your student ID, not the one that you're going to get from the Medical Protection Society, your student ID, the one issued by the University of the West Indies. That tells us who you are. Just very quickly, before you have patient contact, there is an infection prevention and control course that you must do. It's asynchronous. It's all online. There are about 20 lectures that you do at your own pace. I don't expect you to start it today. Usually we give you 2 weeks. It's currently hidden on my e-learning, but I will unhide it by the end of the week so you can start looking at the material. And this is followed by an exam, an MCQ exam that you can do at home, because it's not counting towards your GPA. It just means you've got to pass it before you have patient contact. And that's scheduled for the 20th of November. You'll get more about that next week when I have you guys with a little more detailed orientation. How do we communicate with you? We will communicate with you through your rep, your class rep, whoever that might be. We will communicate with you through My e-learning. They've got a system where you can actually generate an announcement that goes to the entire class. It also goes to all faculty members who are actually on My e-learning. Please make sure that once you are registered and you have access, you constantly go onto My e-learning. That's where all of your material is, not only for the Skills Lab course, but for all your courses. That's where we put things. We don't send things out to students unless it's absolutely critical. And that's usually like 1 in every 2 years kind of thing. So please make sure that you constantly access My e-learning, and if there's a problem, let the team know so that that can be addressed ASAP. So you've met me. I'm the Skills Lab coordinator. Mrs. Archibald, who's sitting in front here, is the secretary. Mr. Lakyle, who's actually manning Skills Lab at the moment because we have teaching this afternoon, is the clerical assistant. And we do have a generic email, and that's the generic email in bold. Please do not send anything to our personal emails. There are 3 people manning the Skills Lab email, so one of us is guaranteed to pick it up. If you send it to my personal email and I am on leave, I will not answer it. But whereas if you send it to the generic email, and in fact, the dean actually issued a memo the other day saying that all departments should have a generic email, it means that one of us will be able to pick it up. And your chances of getting a response, which we try to do within at least 48, 72 hours maximum, of course, except if you send it at 5 p.m. on a Friday, that means it stays there on the weekend. Then it means that one of us will pick it up, and then appropriately respond to your email. And while I have you, when you're emailing Skills Lab, please state your name, your student ID number, and what year you're from. There's just your one class. We have anywhere from 750 to 900 students to deal with. And if you just tell us, dear Skills Lab, I cannot get onto my e-learning, that means we have 3 times the job to do. Well, 6 times the job. We've got to find out who you are, what your ID number is, and what year you're in. So you get a quicker response that way. I know that was a whirlwind thing, but I just wanted to orientate you to Skills Lab. Are there any questions for me? We'll go through this a little bit more slowly next week, Wednesday. Yeah. Yeah, I know, it's pre-lunch. Everyone's falling asleep. Okay, I guess there are no questions for me. Brianna? Somebody coming after me?
All right. So I know it's a lot of information. Please don't be overwhelmed. The departments, when you get to familiarize themselves with the departments, they will also disseminate information to you, right? Something important that Dr. Curry mentioned is dress code. We see it every day, students going to classes in crop tops, when inappropriate slippers, you can't get access to the labs if you're in slippers, you know. Please be mindful, there is a FMS dress code policy, and I will be sharing it, right? It's on my learning as well. And if anybody is confused about it, you can always feel free to email me that I can send you a copy of it, right? So we're almost to lunch. We have one more presenter who's going to be very brief. In the interim, I have our concession stand setting up outside, right? We have someone selling snacks and little food items and drinks on sale. So you all could, you know, check it out. We also have AA Lakis and SBT setting up booths as well, right? And then after lunch, we'll be breaking until 1 p.m. And it's a shorter segment this afternoon. At 1 p.m., we're going to learn about stress management amongst health professionals, communication issues, and bursary information, followed by some tours, right? So I now invite Mr. Stephen Joseph, who's from the Medical Protection Society. MPS is a very important partner with FMS in that they provide services for students, especially when they have to go in clinical settings, right? And Mr. Joseph is going to tell you more about it and how to sign up for those services. It's not going to take long, and I hand over to Mr. Joseph now.
Good morning. It's 1 minute to noon, so it's still morning. So good morning. I'm the guy who is preventing you from going to lunch. Okay? So just bear with me. I'm not going to take too long, but you guys have been getting a lot of information. A lot of information. This is the only information that's coming not from the faculty. I'm the only one who is privileged to be invited, and I'm not a member of the faculty. So my name is Stephen Joseph. I work for MPS, the Medical Protection Society. I want to thank Professor Harry and Ms. Ramutar Singh for inviting me again to come and speak to you guys year one. This is the future of medicine and dentistry in this country. So I think this is the future. 5 years from now, everybody in here is going to be a doctor. Okay? So start calling yourselves doctors from now on. Dr. James, Dr. Williams, Dr. Ali, Dr. Mohammed. Start practicing it, start getting used to it. You guys are going to be doctors. Now, let's talk about your medical career for a second. Okay? So this is preparation for the rest of your life. 5 years from now, and 5 years is going to go real fast because just the other day you were in Form 1 somewhere. But 5 years is going to go real fast. And before you know it, you're going to be done. And at the end of this, you're going to have a professional degree. Now, what does it mean to have a professional degree? That means you have to get licensed to practice. Now, there are only a handful of things in the world: medicine, dentistry, pharmacy, accounting, architecture, actuarial science, law. You have to get a license to practice. Okay? Now, that doesn't discount all the other degrees that people get. I mean, I have 2, but none of them are professional. Okay? So you guys are going to be joining a very unique set of people. You have a professional degree. So after the end of 5 years, if you decide, hey, I don't want to practice medicine, they'll still have to call you doctor because you will be licensed. Okay? Now, in medicine, you have different ways that you can go. Some of you in the next 20 years will be professors here. You'll be in academia. Some of you will go into research. The next person to develop a vaccine for COVID or something else, because something else will be coming, might be one of you in here. You might go into public life and government. The next chief medical officer might come from here. The next minister of health. Let's hope we have another minister of health, not the one we have now. Okay? Jeez, please. Right? And then most of you will go into clinical services. Now, in clinical services, with dentistry, most people will go straight into private practice because we don't have a whole lot of dentists practicing in the public. But after you finish your 5 years, you'll become interns as doctors. You'll go into internship. And then after that, you apply and you get a house officer position. So most people will be in public life for a while. And then once you get a specialty, you'll decide you're going into both public and private. You'll be a consultant in the hospital, and then you'll have your private office. Okay? Now, this is where we come in. Okay? This is the only organization of its kind. Well, not the only one, but it's the largest organization of its kind in the world. It's called the Medical Protection Society, and it was started in the UK over 140 years ago. And the reason it was started by doctors and dentists to protect 2 things. Well, 3: the careers, the finances, and the reputations of its members. Now, wherever you have a large English-speaking population, the UK, where it started, Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, Malaysia, South Africa, the Caribbean, with the exception of the United States and Canada, because the laws are different. Wherever you have a large English-speaking population, you have MPS. And it's to protect the finances and reputations. Okay? Now, here's what. I want all of you in here, to have long, successful careers and make lots of money. I know I'd get a rise out of that. I want you all to make lots of money. This 5 years is going to be rough. This first year is going to be the hardest part. But once you get past this first year, then you start working yourself in. You know what you're doing. I want all of you, if you're 18 years old now, 19 years old, 20 years old, you will literally be practicing for the next 50 years. Think about it. There's a lot of money to be made, eh? In 10 years, I want everybody in here to be driving a BMW or a Mercedes, something. But I want you all to make lots of money, have successful careers, but you have to protect it. Because one mistake and it's over, right? Because a guy makes a mistake and now you see it in the papers all the time. This doctor is getting sued. We live in an age where people are suing more and more. When you turn the TV on, we have American TV here. If you've been injured in an accident, call this number. If you've been the victim of this, call this number. And people are suing. Now, you don't hear a lot about it in Trinidad, but they're suing all around the Caribbean. Every little mistake. You heard Dr. Curry and Professor Clement and Professor Harry talk about professionalism and about competence. Dr. Khoury just mentioned about consent. You just can't go touch a patient anymore. You have to ask the patient if it's okay for me to examine you. You can't just tell a patient, open your mouth and take their teeth out. You can't do that. No. And that used to happen. That used to happen a lot. Open up, open up. All right, bam. And the tooth gone and you in pain and you're stressed and distressed and you have no recourse. Well, now people have recourse. They will sue you and they will take all your money. Okay? So what MPS does is advise you all through your career about how to protect your finances and your reputations. Okay? So we have, they say 300,000, but it's more like 400,000 all around the world. Doctors, dentists, pharmacists, other healthcare professionals, optometrists. We don't protect vets. We don't have that capacity yet. But, you know, but it's all over the world. And you can call every day and ask for advice. If you get yourself into trouble. Now, the law of averages is somebody in here is going to get themselves in trouble in the next year. Okay, you get called before the dean, the board, the university. You made a mistake. You don't know what to do, but you're a member of MPS. You call us up and we'll advise. And if you need representation, you get representation. Now, it's hardly likely, it's unlikely that somebody's going to sue you as a student, especially in your first couple of years. But once you start going to the hospitals, your risk increases. And it's all about risk and preventing risk. So again, your finances and your reputations. So what are we protecting against? Negligence. Now, this is the dictionary version of what negligence is, okay? Failure to take proper care over something, breach of duty. This is all dictionary. To simplify it, you made a mistake. You made a mistake and somebody has to pay. Once you make a mistake, somebody wants you to pay. Somebody has to pay for your mistake. So now, what you do? You call up MPS, right? And this is where indemnity comes in. Indemnity is security or protection against a financial loss or otherwise. Now, nobody's going to sue you for your first few years as a student, but you have the protection because let me tell you something, you get called up or you get sued, it's a very stressful part of your life. How many people in here have family that's doctors or friends that are doctors or dentists? Show of hands, how many people? You have quite a bit. Now, when you go home, for those of you who have family members or friends, ask them about MPS, ask them about medical protection and dental protection. You will find that 90% of them are signed up with this company. And there's a reason for that. It's worry-free. Something happens, you don't have to go look for your own lawyer. You don't have to do anything. You're a member. You call up and you get handled. Okay? They take care of everything. The most stressful part of being a medical professional or a dental professional is in your whole lifetime would be if somebody decides they're going to sue you. And this takes all the worry out of it. So with this, it's about education. We start educating you from now about how to protect yourself. Because you'll find you have doctors who've been practicing 20, 30 years and they forget the simple things. And the simple things are what get you in trouble. So why do you need protection? As a student, like I said, you don't really need that protection, but it's all about education. It's all about confidentiality. When you start walking on the wards, doing rounds, you can't take pictures of patients. If you see something, you have to keep it to yourself. You discuss it within, your little group of professionals, but you can't go home and tell your partners, hey, I see today. No, you can't do that. Confidentiality. You have to start keeping your stuff confidential from now on. You have to practice it. You have to start practicing communication amongst yourselves, amongst your faculty, and ultimately communicating with your patients. Because Dr. Khoury talked about talking down to a patient. Patients now not going to take that. They're going to have fight going to break out. They're not going to take that. You can't talk down to patients anymore. Right? And this is something that was practiced, but over time, we get away from it. You have to learn to communicate properly, and you have to start now. I've heard a number of people here today talk about professionalism, okay? How you dress. how you carry yourselves. When you dress a certain way, you feel a certain way. Okay? If you come to work and you have on a jeans and a slippers, you're not in a mood to work. You're in a mood to line. So you have to start practicing the professionalism from now on. And your competence is what will get you into trouble or not get you into trouble. This is, you enter in a profession that where you could actually kill people. Okay? And you think about it. When I go talk to, there's something called the Society of Surgeons of Trinidad and Tobago. This is all the professors and the top surgeons in the country. Okay? And when I go talk to them, I tell them that it's a privilege to be a surgeon. When you think about it, this is not chicken or duck that you're cutting up for curry on a Sunday. You actually putting people to sleep and cutting into them and hoping that they wake up. So it's a privilege, and you have to think about it now. It is a privilege to treat patients. Somebody's coming to you and actually entrusting their lives in your care. So it's a privilege. So you have to start thinking about it like that from now on while you're making the big money. Okay? Let's not forget that. So then as an intern, you start talking about consent and record keeping. Start practicing good notes from now on. You know that big joke about how doctors' handwriting is so poor? If you can't write properly, if you have chicken scratch, type everything out. You have lots of apps on your phone where you could talk into it and it will transcribe what you're saying. But if you can't write properly, don't write, because your notes, if you can't read your own notes, do you think somebody else could read it? Especially if you go to court later on. What is it that you wrote here? I'm trying to remember. So if you can't remember, nobody else will remember. And when you start practicing, we teach you all this. When you start practicing and you start seeing patients, after each patient, do your notes. Don't wait until at the end of the day after you've seen 10 people. And now you're trying to remember what happened with the first person. You have to start practicing these things from now on. Okay? And then when you become a house officer, the responsibility increases, and then on and on and on. So what we do is we protect you along the way. Once you become a member, you have access to a lot of things. Okay? We have an online platform called Prism, where you can go on and you can learn about past medical legal cases, past cases. Okay? And it continues all throughout your career. Once somebody joins MPS as a student, you tend to find that it goes all the way through the career because they've been around for 140 years. So they're not going to go somewhere else. They're going to start learning, and nobody else gives you education and everything. All right? So this is what you get as a student. The membership is free. Okay? And free is a very nice word because it'll be free all through your 5 years as a student. And then when you become an intern, it also is free. And then for your first 2 years as a house officer, it's also free. Okay? And then after that, because your responsibility increases, you know, they start charging, but it's not a lot of money. Okay? So if you decide you're going to do an elective in your third year or something, you want to go to England, you want to go to Jamaica, you still have the same protection. What we started doing during the pandemic is we started having a lot of webinars because we realized that was the best way to reach people. Sometimes on a Sunday, we would have a webinar and we'd get 600 people across the Caribbean, right? Good Samaritan Acts. You can call for advice every day of the week. And something else that we started during the pandemic, we realized that doctors were burnt out. They were overworked. There was just too much. Now, the university here has a lot of services that you can access. If you want to talk to somebody, if you want counseling, the university has a lot of services. But if you don't want to talk to somebody here, you go online and you talk to somebody in Australia. That's an option. I don't want the guy down the road to know what I'm talking about. We're worried about confidentiality because, you know, the stigma of mental health is still kind of around, you know, oh God, she crazy, you know? No, you go online, you're burnt out, you need some help, you need to talk to somebody. You go online and you talk to somebody in Australia. You make an appointment. Right, so I've talked enough. This is how you can join. That's my cell phone number up there. You can message me, call me anytime, I always answer. The QR code, you scan, it'll take you straight to the join page. You join. Remember, it's free. It's a one-pager. They're asking your name, address, phone number, date of birth, what year you're going to graduate, 6 or 7 questions. You join. In two or 3 days, you'd get an email from the UK saying, welcome to medical protection. And you have access to all the things that I talked about. And like I said, you message me, you call me anytime. I might not answer you right away, but I will always answer you. You forget how to get in touch with me, call Ms. Ramutasing, call Rihanna and say, how do I get in touch with the MPS guy? Okay? And you will see me from time to time over the next couple of years. And I will send people emails. Okay, you'll get emails from me about reminders, about things coming up, about webinars that we're going to have. Okay? So you'll probably get tired of seeing me, but I'll be around. Okay? Any questions? I know everybody hungry. All right. I want to thank you very much for putting up with me, before lunch. And I will see you soon. And congratulations again.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph. And I also bring him back when we have our year 4 orientation 4 years from now to re-emphasize the importance of MPS, right? So without much